Chapter 667. Star Dao Kor Qin Yun is crazily killing big star devils over there and harvested a large number of star Dao Kors. His two heavenly lions are very brave and vigorous. Furthermore, they are very powerful. They can easily take down those big star devils. As for Qin Yun, he only used a sword as a saber to attack. Although it is not convenient, it is the best weapon he can get right now. If I could use the 9-Sun Divine Hammer, killing these things would be as easy as mowing grass. In order to conserve his strength, Qin Yun tried his best to avoid using strong power to attack. He only relied on skillful attacks. And one of the important points of the common saber style is how to use skillful attacks. Using very light power, it can produce great power and reach the realm of moving 1,000 jin with 4 liang. Although Qin Yun's mastery is not good enough, he doesn't need to spend too much energy to kill the big star devils. Because the two heavenly lions are making a lot of noise, they can tell from a distance that there are people here. Now, Jian Nanhu is rushing towards Qin Yun. There's also a very strong Liang Yuan Hai following behind him. Jian Nanhu is here, Ling Yun suddenly said. What is this bastard doing here? Qin Yun promptly summoned the two Nether Realm heavenly lions to avoid being targeted by Jian Nanhu. Jian Nanhu is a very aggressive guy. If he discovered that the two heavenly lions are very strong and attack them as devil beast kings, it would be very troublesome. It's not just Jian Nanhu, there's someone behind him. Ling Yun said, I remember that guy. He seems to be a disciple of the Medicine Immortal Valley, but his appearance has changed. Could it be devil transformation? How can this be? When Qin Yun saw Jian Nanhu rushing over, he had a bad premonition. Jian Nanhu, what are you doing here? Qin Yun shouted. Qin Yun, I have a gift for you. Don't you hate people from the Medicine Immortal Valley? The guy behind me is from the Medicine Immortal Valley. After Jian Nanhu arrived, he laughed loudly. Quickly thank me. I'll thank your mother's father. When Qin Yun saw how powerful Liang Yuan Hai is, he immediately cursed. Jian Nanhu, you bastard, aren't you very warlike? Why did you bring this thing to me? Qin Yun wants to properly kill the big star devil and obtain more stellar Dao cores. I'm not free right now. I'm going to chase after that devil star overlord. That guy is very powerful. I can't let him escape. Therefore, I brought this Liang Yuan Hai to you. Jian Nanhu swept past Qin Yun's side in an instant. When Liang Yuan Hai saw Qin Yun, he immediately became furious. Qin Yun, you are the enemy of our Medicine Immortal Valley. How did you become like this? Qin Yun could not help but frown when he sensed Liang Yuan Hai's extremely dense, evil aura. Lord Overlord gave this to me. Liang Yuan Hai originally wanted to kill Qin Yun. After he demonized, the desire in his heart became even more intense. Jian Nanhu has already run far away. Qin Yun does not plan to fight with Liang Yuan Hai. He wants to conserve his strength to deal with the Devil Star Beast King. This bastard Jian Nanhu, I thought he was just a stupid, boorish fellow. I didn't expect him to be so treacherous. Qin Yun turned around and ran, chasing after Jian Nanhu. When Jian Nanhu saw Qin Yun chasing after him, he immediately shouted, Qin Yun, why are you following me? I want to throw that guy back to you. I want to go hunt the big star devil. Qin Yun is also somewhat angry. If not for Jian Nanhu luring that guy over, he would have been able to easily kill the big star devil. Qin Yun, your strength is not bad. Even if you can't defeat that guy, you won't be killed. Jian Nanhu shouted, just don't let him bother me. Bastard, I also have my own things to do. Why are you going to kill the Devil Star Overlord and let me deal with this kind of evil devil? Qin Yun said angrily. I don't care, I don't want to fight with that guy. Jian Nanhu spoke and suddenly drilled into the ground. Qin Yun looked at the hole and is stunned. This bastard, he actually knows how to dig a hole. Is he a mouse? Boom! Liang Yuan Hai, who was chasing from behind, punched. The fist energy rumbled and shook several thousand meters away. When it swept across the ground, it left behind a deep ravine. Qin Yun is extremely furious. I'll get rid of this guy first, and then go find Jian Nanhu to settle the score. That bastard is too much. Although the fist energy that smashed over is very strong, Qin Yun jumped into the air and dodged it. This weak chicken Jian Nanhu definitely doesn't have enough strength to quickly kill this guy. That's why he threw him at me. Qin Yun descended from the sky and slashed down with his sword. Liang Yuanhai's strength is very strong, but because he just transformed into a devil, his condition is very unstable. Seeing Qin Yun attack, his body suddenly swelled up. That arm suddenly turned black and malevolent. Like a devil claw, it extended into the sky and grabbed at Qin Yun. Qin Yun's sword hacked at Liang Yuanhai's palm and also erupted with a violent vibration thunder and lightning power, stirring up a large amount of violent thunder and lightning. What's going on? Qin Yun is immediately shocked. He never expected that his sword would be caught by Liang Yuanhai. Ha, trash! Liang Yuanhai laughed crazily and said, "This is my power, the power bestowed upon me by Lord Overlord. Ha ha." Liang Yuanhai looks like he's gone mad. He laughed sinisterly and then vigorously broke Qin Yun's sword. Ho! Liang Yuanhai's arm overflowed with a violent energy wave, sending Qin Yun flying. Qin Yun grabbed the broken sword and was shocked to the extreme. Yuner, how did this guy become so strong after transforming into a devil? Qin Yun is also shocked by that kind of power and asked, "That guy kept talking about Overlord or something." Ling Yuner quickly said, "Be careful, quickly dodge." Qin Yun promptly dodged Liang Yuanhai, who is flying over. Liang Yuanhai, who has gone berserk, his speed and power have increased by a lot. After flying over, he fiercely chased after Qin Yun. Qin Yun promptly used passing shadow extinction breath step and disappeared. "You can't escape." Liang Yuanhai laughed sinisterly and promptly chased after Qin Yun. He seems to know Qin Yun's whereabouts. Xiao xiao. Liang Yuanhai's sinister arm, chopped down, is like a terrifying giant axe falling down. Qin Yun fiercely dodged. Just now it was extremely thrilling. He felt that even if he has the heavenly lion Xian body, he would definitely not be able to resist that terrifying arm. This guy must have obtained the power bestowed upon him by the Star Devil Spirit King. Ling Yuner said, "The core of that devil star gave birth to a large number of star devil spirits, and those star devil spirits also have kings. If my guess is not wrong, that king is attached to a devil beast king. Is that devil beast king the one Jin Nanhu is chasing?" Qin Yun said as he repeatedly dodged Liang Yuanhai's attacks. Liang Yuanhai is also infuriated because he has attacked several times but failed. Qin Yun has always dodged them. After transforming into a devil, he is already very irritable. At this moment, he is unable to calm down. He constantly roared and shouted and used his strongest power to attack Qin Yun. The Devil Star Overlord that Jian Nanhu went to deal with shouldn't have evolved yet. No wonder Jian Nanhu is in such a hurry. He is also worried that it will be difficult to kill that guy after he completely evolves. Ling Yuner said, "Should I summon the Nether Realm Heavenly Lion?" Qin Yun asked, "Xiao Yun, you have to go all out to defeat this guy, but that will also be very harmful to you." Ling Yuner said anxiously, "Even if Yuan comes to help you, it won't be that easy to take down this guy. Is there no other way?" Qin Yun gritted his teeth and repeatedly dodged Liang Yuanhai's frantic attacks. This guy definitely has a star devil spirit on his body, and it's a relatively strong one. This means that his Dao core is also a white Dao core that contains star power. Ling Yuner said, "Bang!" Qin Yun's abdomen was suddenly punched, and he was sent flying far away. Liang Yuanhai is simply terrifying to the extreme. His speed, power, and perception have all reached the extreme. "Xiao Yun, there's a way to get rid of this guy relatively easily, but there's a certain risk." Ling Yuner said, "It is to devour the star power of his Dao core. The reason why there's a risk is because I am not sure if the star power in his Dao core is the purest or not. If it isn't, then it might be more troublesome for you to devour it." Qin Yun said, "Let's try and see. If this goes on, I won't be able to escape. If Yuan and the others come over, they will also be implicated." As he spoke, Liang Yuanhai flew over. Ling Yuner controlled the power of the Nether Sun Dao core and released it, condensing a supergravity that pressed down on Liang Yuanhai's body. Liang Yuanhai was suddenly suppressed by the supergravity and found it difficult to move his body. Qin Yun promptly rushed over and grabbed Liang Yuanhai. He pressed him to the ground and locked his hands behind his back. "Begin," Qin Yun shouted. Ling Yuner also controlled the Nether Sun martial spirit and began devouring the star power of Liang Yuanhai's Dao core. "It's a success. It's pure mental power," Ling Yuner said happily. "This guy will definitely continue to go crazy and release the power of the Dao core. This way, it will be easier for you to absorb it. If this guy is smart, he will be able to resist your power devouring." Qin Yun also sensed an unending stream of rich star power. It crazily poured into his Nether Sun Dao core and quickly refined into pure mental power. It poured into his head and poured into the purple star crystal. "If there are more of these guys, I might be able to break through." Qin Yun laughed loudly. "It's not that easy to break through. Your situation is rather special. If you want to transform your mind into moon, you should still need some special conditions. Sigh, if only I could see Big Sister Yang. She might have a better way," Ling Yuner said. Qin Yun's Nether Sun martial spirit devoured the star power very quickly. Not long after, it devoured a large amount of it. Liang Yuanhai struggled frantically and cursed. If he stopped releasing his power, Qin Yun would stimulate him and make him go crazy. This way, Qin Yun would be able to constantly devour the star power that was released. Suddenly, the evil energy in the air surged fiercely and rushed in one direction. Lord Overlord is about to complete his evolution. "Ha ha! I'm about to be saved." Liang Yuanhai laughed sinisterly. Ling Yuner quickly sped up the devouring speed. Liang Yuanhai's Dao core was also emptied bit by bit. Not long after, only an empty shell remained. Qin Yun killed Liang Yuanhai. Chapter 668. Never to be a slave. Ling Yun knows more about the sun, moon, and stars, so Qin Yun does not doubt her words. Just as Qin Yun was flying over, a violent explosion suddenly occurred in the distance. A powerful blast surged out. Qin Yun, who was flying over, was also blown back by the powerful blast. "Oh no, that Devil Star Overlord really successfully evolved." Ling Yuner's voice is filled with anxiety. "What should we do now? There's a barrier here. If you can't get out, you'll be killed." Qin Yun said, "I'll go over and see what's going on. That guy might not be that strong." "Xiao Yun, that guy's energy is the core of a Devil Star. Do you think it's strong or not?" Ling Yuner said, "We better not go over. Hurry up and let Yuelon and the others hide." At this time, many big star demons came out from underground caves or mountain caves. When a large group of big star demons came out, they were extremely shocked. The big star demon in the cave shook off a large amount of soil and then came out from underground. As for the big star demon in the cave, it tore the whole mountain apart. Those big star devils seem to have also successfully evolved. Qin Yun heard the roars of the big star devils coming from all directions and secretly felt alarmed. It must be. Those guys, how can they evolve so fast? Ling Yuner originally expected it to take 2 or 3 days, but now it seemed to be less than half a day. Qin Yun looked in the direction where the miserable evil wind is coming from. "The Devil Star Overlord is over there. I'll go take a look. Maybe we can find a solution. If we don't deal with that guy, we will definitely be in trouble." Qin Yun spoke and quickly flew in the air. Even in the air, there was a very strong flow of evil energy. It was not easy to fly quickly. "I wonder if that guy Jian Nanhu can deal with the Devil Star Overlord." Qin Yun thought to himself. "That guy can't even kill Liang Yuanhai. Yet you still expect him to kill the Devil Star Overlord?" Ling Yun lightly snorted and said, "Jian Nanhu is an arrogant lunatic." Qin Yun also thinks so. Jian Nanhu is indeed very strong, but sometimes he can easily lose his mind. In the sky above Devil Marshall Island, there are several experienced and knowledgeable half-immortals. When they saw that the Devil Marshall Island was shrouded in devil chi, they realized that something was amiss. Their faces turned grave. A disciple of our medicine Immortal Valley died just now. The half-immortal of the medicine Immortal Valley has an ugly expression on his face. Those disciples all had life talismans stored in the sect. If they died, the life talismans they stored in the sect would also spontaneously combust. Jian Shirtian looked down at the Devil Marshall Island and sensed the evil devil aura. He said, "Let's hurry up and bring the disciples out. Otherwise, who knows how many will die." Disciples are dying one after another. This is definitely not done by Qin Yin. Bao Changshuo said, "If we don't get the disciples out and they all die, who will be to blame?" Everyone knows that the Divine Inscription Palace faction lost 3 immortal disciples. Therefore, they wish that all the disciples on the island would die. Looks like a Devil Star Overlord has been born. Suddenly, a gray-robed half-immortal arrived. Behind this half-immortal, there are many Devil Star Overlords. He even followed Han Fenghu. This was Han Fenghu's faction's half-immortal, but there was only one. Devil Star Overlord? What level of existence is that equivalent to? Jian Shirtian said somewhat worriedly. It's at least a martial king. As long as it was just born, it would be a martial king. The gray-robed half-immortal's expression is grave. We should have let the disciples come out quickly. At this moment, many sects, even the Medicine Immortal Valley and the Long family, strongly requested for their disciples to be brought out. This trial can be considered invalid. We'll choose new disciples, how about it? The people from the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain shouted, because all 4 of their disciples are dead. According to this trial, among the final 16 people, there are no disciples from their Azure Flame Immortal Mountain. At this moment, a few half-immortals of the Divine Inscription Palace also promptly went down, preparing to open a small hole and let the disciples come out. Because a special situation has occurred on the Devil Marshall Island, we have to leave the island ahead of time. All disciples, fly to the sky and let us receive you. The gray-robe half-immortal's voice spread out and enveloped the entire Devil Marshall Island. Many disciples on the Devil Marshall Island are immediately overjoyed and quickly flew into the sky. However, not everyone is as strong as Jian Nanhu and Qin Yin. If they encountered big star devils, they would not be able to handle it, let alone being surrounded by a large number of big star devils. Jian Shirtan glared at the half-immortal from the Divine Inscription Palace. "Didn't you say before that there was some devil governing master? How did it become like this?" "I don't know." The tone of the half-immortal from the Divine Inscription Palace is also not good. "I'll cut you right now. Do you believe me?" Jian Shirtian is furious because his grandson is still inside, but now such a serious turn of events has occurred. If you want to blame someone, blame Qin Yin. The half-immortal coldly snorted and said, "The person who summoned the Devil Star is not Qin Yin, but you, old dog." Jian Shirtian can no longer suppress the anger in his heart. The sword aura on his body is incomparably monstrous, causing the entire island to shake. The ocean below is even more turbulent, creating a 100-meter-tall giant wave. "Jian Shirtian, are you going to attack me?" The half-immortal from the Divine Inscription Palace is also infuriated. 3 of their immortal disciples died, and they're already extremely unhappy. "Not only do I want to attack you, I want to kill you." Jian Shirtian thought his grandson, and that it is extremely likely that he will die. So he promptly stabbed with his sword. "Puchi!" Jian Shirtian stabbed and slashed, chopping off the arm of the half-immortal from the Divine Inscription Palace. "Are you serious?" The half-immortal looked at his arm that fell to the ground and shouted in anger. "All of you calm down," the gray-robe half-immortal said coldly. "Let's work together and remove the barrier around the Devil Marshall Island. We'll go in and search for disciples." The gray-robed half-immortal is still very strong. Although they don't know who he is, even Jian Shirtian calmed down. This barrier is not easy to remove. If we break it by force, it might take 2 hours. Han Fenghu said, "Let's split up and undo the barrier." The gray-robed half-immortal said. At this time, a few disciples also came out. As soon as they came out, they described the various powerful star devils inside, causing the expression of the half-immortal from the divine inscription palace to become very ugly. Because the devil governing master did not succeed in controlling the star devils. After Qin Yun rushed to the center of the eruption of devil energy, he saw a tall figure enveloped by black devil energy. After the devil energy dissipated, Qin Yun saw that Jian Nanhu is actually lying on the ground struggling. His chest is being stepped on by a tall person, and his sternum is already broken. Qin Yun saw the Devil Star Overlord. It is a giant with 3 heads and 6 arms. It is 5 to 6 meters tall. Its head is bald. Its 6 arms are very long. Its skin is dark, and it is filled with strong muscles. This is the evolution of the monster filled with tentacles from before. After Jian Nanhu arrived, he was a step too slow. In the end, he was unable to kill the Devil Star Overlord before it finished evolving. Weak human. The Devil Star Overlord's voice is cold and filled with tyranny. Boom! He vigorously kicked Jian Nanhu's body. Coincidentally, he kicked towards Qin Yun's side. Qin Yun hurriedly went over and caught Jian Nanhu. Qin Yun, hurry up and run. We're not this guy's match. He is a martial king. Jian Nanhu said anxiously. Run? As long as it's something that I can see, it has no chance to escape. If you don't believe me, give it a try. The Devil Star Overlord has 3 heads and 3 mouths spoke at the same time. Then it arrogantly laughed wildly. The Devil Star Overlord body is 6 meters tall. When it took a step forward, it caused the earth to tremble. Xiao Yun, hurry up and run. Ling Yuner said. Yuner, this guy's body is so big. If I use the mysterious penetration divine ability, I should be able to enter his body, right? Qin Yun said in his heart. Yes, but alright, this method might be useful, but there will definitely be a certain amount of risk. Ling Yuna said. At this moment, Qin Yun suddenly sensed Jian Ruyan's aura. Ruyan, catch this bastard. Qin Yun fiercely threw Jian Nanhu out. Jian Nanhu shot out fiercely and cursed loudly. Qin Yun, you turtle egg. Before I defeat you, you must not die. Jian Ruyan caught Jian Nanhu. She does not know what is going on with Qin Yun. At this moment, the Devil Star Overlord also released a ball of power and attacked Jian Ruyan. A ball of black light flew over. Qin Yun promptly jumped and struck out with thunder and lightning vibration power that pierced through the black light ball. Ruyan, quickly leave. Qin Yun shouted. When Jian Ruyan saw how heavily injured Jian Nanhu is, she knew that the guy over there is very strong. She did not rush over rashly. When the Devil Star Overlord saw that Qin Yun's strength is not weak, he said in a deep voice, I can feel that your potential is very great. Become my loyal servant. I can immediately increase your strength by 10 times. Not interested. Qin Yun raised his head and looked at the tall Devil Star Overlord. He is looking for an opportunity to attack. You're not even willing to increase your strength? You are currently so weak. If you obtain the power I bestow upon you, you will definitely be 10 times stronger than you are now. The Devil Star Overlord's voice is as rough as thunder, shaking Qin Yun. The important thing is not how much my strength increases, but that I won't be your servant. Qin Yun said with a sneer, I will never be a slave. For weak humans like you, being able to be my servant is a kind of honor. You actually despise it? The Devil Star Overlord immediately became furious and said, The existence of me, the Devil Star Overlord, is specially to enslave you. The furious Devil Star Overlord fiercely waved his palm and ruthlessly attacked Qin Yun. For palms fiercely attacked, the power is incomparably berserk and immediately caused the earth to explode and crack. The place where Qin Yun was suddenly turned into a huge crater. The Devil Star Overlord's hand tightly grabbed Qin Yun's body and said in astonishment, You actually have nether. Chapter 669. Overlord Puppet. The one who is the most astonished should be the Devil Star Overlord. He never expected that an ant-like human like Qin Yun would actually enter his body. Damned bug. Do you think you can deal with me like this? The Devil Star Overlord said angrily, Since you entered my body, you can die inside forever and become my energy. Inside the Devil Star Overlord's body, Qin only felt that everything around him is extremely sturdy. Furthermore, there's a powerful energy pressing down on his body from all directions. The Devil Star Overlord controlled the energy within his body and attacked Qin frantically, wanting to refine Qin. This guy's body is really powerful. There's not a single soft spot inside. Qin said in shock, "Truly a powerful body. This guy's body is called Star Body, is not inferior to a mortal body." Ling Yin'er said, "Xiao Yun, as long as we destroy this guy's energy source, his energy is the star nucleus inside the Devil Star." Qin suddenly became excited and said, "The star power contained inside the star nucleus should be able to make my mental power very strong, right?" Ling Yin'er and Qin both felt that it is very strange because they did not sense where the energy source is. "Yin'er, what's going on? I don't seem to have found that guy's star nucleus." Qin closed his eyes and tried to sense it. The guy is constantly releasing energy to attack you. The aura of that energy has covered up the energy aura of his star nucleus. Ling Yin'er said, "I guess it should be at the location of the heart, just a bit above you." Qin used the mysterious penetration divine ability and advanced a bit. He saw a huge black heart. It looks like a stone and is very sturdy. Boom, boom, boom. As the heart beat, it emitted a series of trembling sounds. Whoosh! The heart suddenly surged out a large amount of energy and rushed Qin down. Qin was submerged by the violent energy. His body is in endless pain, as if he is about to be melted by the energy. Fortunately, Ling Yin'er can constantly control the Nether Sun martial spirit and activate the Nether Sun Tao core to release energy to protect Qin's body. If not, Qin would definitely melt bit by bit. Although I don't know how a lowly fellow like you obtained the Nether Sun martial spirit, it will be mine. Ha ha ha. The Devil Star Overlord very happily laughed and said, "Thank you, foolish fellow, for gifting the Nether Sun martial spirit to me. You ran into my body by yourself. You're simply seeking your own death." Even if Qin did not gain anything from this place, he could still leave. At that time, as long as the exploding Tao core is left here, the Devil Star Overlord will be blown to death. The Devil Star Overlord stood in place and continuously controlled his heart to release energy. And inside the Devil Star Overlord's body, Qin is like a waterfall rushing up. It is extremely difficult. He thought that the continuous impact of the energy caused him to be unable to use the mysterious penetration divine ability. "Xiao Yun, I'll release supergravity later to resist the impact force. Then you quickly rush up," Ling Yin'er said. Qin and Ling Yin'er have a telepathic connection. Ling Yin'er released a stream of energy. After the supergravity, the energy that came crashing down was also blocked. Qin fiercely swam up in the narrow space and touched the heart. Then, he used the mysterious penetration divine ability and entered the heart. The space inside the heart is very small. Fortunately, Qin's body size is not too big, and the heart of the Devil Star Overlord is very big. Qin entered the heart and immediately cried out in pain, because the energy here is even more berserk. It can't help but rush out and attack Qin. "Ha! You have the ability. You actually ran in my heart, but this will make you die even faster. Your Nether Sun martial spirit is mine." The Devil Star Overlord is very happy and continuously stepped on the ground. The earth rumbled and trembled violently from being stepped on. Qin never expected that there would be such pain inside the Devil Star Overlord's heart. "Xiao Yun, hold on." Ling Yin'er controlled the Nether Sun Tao core to release its power to resist. However, inside the heart of the Devil Star Overlord, there is a star nucleus. The energy it is releasing is extremely tyrannical. Qin curled up inside the heart. He only felt that the energy is like a huge hammer striking at him, causing the berserk star power to enter his body. "Yin'er, devour," Qin said in his heart. "Guide all the released energy into my Nether Sun Tao core. This might be a bit dangerous." Ling Yin also knows what Qin is thinking. Don't worry, I'll be fine. Qin Yun is determined to obtain that star nucleus. Ling Yun also did as Qin Yun said because this is the only way. Otherwise, if this continues, Qin Yun will definitely be melted bit by bit. Qin Yun is unable to directly control the Nether Sun martial spirit. He needs to go through Ling Yun. Ling Yun is very proficient in controlling the Nether Sun martial spirit. Therefore, Qin Yun believes that she will definitely be able to do it. It's starting. Ling Yun controlled the Nether Sun martial spirit and used the devouring divine ability with all her might. If it wasn't for special circumstances, she wouldn't have used the devouring divine ability like this. That's because it's very dangerous. If she doesn't control it well, it will injure Qin Yun. Waves of energy gushed out from the star nucleus. After approaching Qin Yun, they all entered Qin Yun's Nether Sun Dao core. Only now did Qin Yun realize how terrifying his Nether Sun Dao core is. It actually devoured so much energy in an instant. Xiao Yun, hurry up and go. Ling Yun shouted. Qin Yun endured the pain in his body and quickly approached the star nucleus. The star nucleus is not big. It can be held with both hands. It emitted a very white glow, and the energy is very pure. The reason why the Devil Star Overlord's power is evil is also because its martial spirit and soul are evil. Therefore, after absorbing the pure energy, the energy released will also become extremely evil. After Qin Yun's hands touched the star nucleus, he immediately felt the Devil Star Overlord's consciousness frantically drilling into his soul. Xiao Yun, that guy wants to devour you, block it. Ling Yun shouted and also released her power to resist the invasion of the Devil Star Overlord's consciousness. Smelly bug, you're finished, huh? The Devil Star Overlord laughed loudly. The one who's finished is you. Ling Yun lightly snorted and said, I am the Nether Sun Dao spirit. Your star devil spirit is just an ant in front of me. The petite Ling Yun's words are filled with domineering aura. Nether Sun Dao spirit. How is this possible? The Nether Sun Dao spirit can't survive with humans. The Devil Star Overlord immediately shouted in horror. What's impossible about it? You're dead for sure. Ling Yun seems to be able to communicate with the Devil Star Overlord. Qin Yun held the star nucleus with both hands and gradually felt that he is becoming more and more able to control the star nucleus. The Devil Star Overlord quickly rolled on the ground and shouted, my energy, smelly bug, quickly get out of my body. I will crush you to death. Previously, the Devil Star Overlord was very happy that Qin Yun could enter his body, but now he is filled with regret. Qin Yun doesn't know what Ling Yun did, but the Devil Star Overlord gradually calmed down, as if it has lost consciousness. Qin Yun, who is holding the star nucleus, also seems to be controlling the Devil Star Overlord's body. At this moment, many big star devils rushed over. What's going on? Through the star nucleus, Qin Yun can control the Devil Star Overlord's body and see the situation outside. Ha ha! Xiao Yun, this thing has become your puppet. You can reside in this Devil Star Overlord's body. Ling Yun happily giggled and said, the Devil Star Overlord's consciousness has been destroyed by us. As long as you touch the star nucleus, you can control the Devil Star Overlord. After Qin Yun heard this, he felt extremely excited. He quickly tried controlling the Devil Star Overlord's body to stand up. Then, he used his consciousness to control the Devil Star Overlord to punch a big star devil. That big star devil, with a crashing sound, was smashed into mincemeat by that fist. This is so King awesome. Qin Yun is extremely excited. He immediately punched the big star devils. Xiao Yun, those devil governing masters have finally appeared. Those big star devils were previously controlled by the Devil Star Overlord, so the devil governing masters were unable to control them. Now, the Devil Star Overlord has lost control of the big star devils. That's why the devil governing masters succeeded. Ling Yun said. She never expected that Qin Yun would so coincidentally obtain such a peculiar puppet. Qin Yun said with a smile, it doesn't matter. He sat in the heart of the Devil Star Overlord's body and held the star nucleus. Then, he controlled the Devil Star Overlord's 6 huge arms and crazily attacked. When the fists landed on the big star devils, they shattered one with each punch. At this moment, Xiao Yuan flew over. She did not see the past. She only saw the Devil Star Overlord madly attacking the big star devils. "Are you the Devil Star Overlord that Jian Nanu mentioned? Where's my husband?" Xiao Yuan did not see Qin Yun and became extremely anxious. She shouted at the Devil Star Overlord. "Yuan, I'm inside this guy's body." Qin Yun promptly transmitted his voice to Xiao Yuan. His mental origin power easily overflowed. After Xiao Yuan heard this, she was immediately astonished. She followed Qin Yun's mental origin power and asked, "Xiao Yun, what's going on? Were you eaten by that guy? I'll save you right now." "Wait, don't act recklessly." Qin Yun promptly shouted, "Yuan, I've taken control of this guy's body. Quickly use the mysterious penetration divine ability to enter." After Xiao Yuan was startled, she promptly flew over and used the mysterious penetration divine ability to enter the Devil Star Overlord's body. Qin Yun expanded the Devil Star Overlord's heart a bit, making it as big as a small nest. Under Qin Yun's guidance, Xiao Yuan also squeezed into the Devil Star Overlord's heart. "Yuan, I'll let you play with it." Qin Yun handed the star nucleus to Xiao Yuan and said with a chuckle. Xiao Yuan held the star nucleus and followed Qin Yun's instructions. She controlled the Devil Star Overlord to move as she wished. The Devil Star Overlord madly rushed forward and crazily smashed those big star devils. Then, it took out the Dao cores from the big star devils' bodies and ate them. Finally, it entered the heart. "Xiao Yun, you're really something. This is too fun." Xiao Yuan smiled tenderly and kissed Qin Yun's lips. She praised, "As expected of my husband, truly amazing." "Illo." Suddenly, a beast roar sounded out. Xiao Yuan promptly controlled the Devil Star Overlord to turn its head and saw a huge malevolent wolf rushing over. Chapter 670. Cloud of Doubt. After Qin Yun received the star nucleus, he promptly controlled the Devil Star Overlord and charged towards the Devil Star Beast King. "This thing in front of the Devil Star Overlord is just trash." Qin Yun laughed disdainfully. Then, he pulled Xiao Yuan's lily-white hand and transmitted what he saw in her mind. He said with a smile, "Watch me." Although the Devil Star Overlord body is 6 meters tall, its charging speed is very fast. That Devil Star Beast King was originally a Devil Beast King. It only evolved after absorbing the evil star power. Although it has become very strong, and its body is also very huge. When its body that is dozens of meters long rushed over, it trampled many big star devils to death, causing the earth to tremble. The giant wolf's body is black and red in color. Its surface is covered with thick scales. It looks sturdy and full of power. Its huge mouth has many sharp red giant teeth, as if they can bite everything to pieces. Illo. After the giant wolf saw the Devil Star Overlord, it fiercely pounced over. Qin Yun controlled the Devil Star Overlord and sent the giant wolf flying with a wave of its palm. The Devil Star Overlord can be considered a giant, but compared to the giant wolf, it is still too small. However, it can send the giant wolf flying with a single palm strike. Go to hell. Qin Yun controlled the Devil Star Overlord to charge over. Its 6 arms are like 6 blades as it attacked with common saber style. In just a few swoosh, 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 many bloody scars appeared on the giant wolf's body. Finally, the giant wolf's forehead was pressed by the Devil Star Overlord's palm. It poured in a violent and ferocious power, causing the giant wolf's head to explode. The giant wolf died. Qin Yun quickly took out the crystal nucleus from the giant wolf's body. At this moment, Ling Yun said, "Xiao Yun, I can control the Nether Sun martial spirit to use the devouring divine ability and gather all the star power in the big star devil bodies into the star nucleus. The star power here originally came from the star nucleus. It will definitely be very smoothly devoured back. It's equivalent to recycling. The big star devils, and those devil beast kings must have been controlled by the devil governing masters. Those devil governing masters should also want to capture the devil star overlord. When Qin Yun heard Ling Yun's words, he agreed to use the devouring power. With Xiao Yuan by his side, he dared to act recklessly. Yuan, what about Jian Ruyan and the others? Is everyone safe? Qin Yun asked. They all left through the small hole in the barrier at the top. They also got a lot of star Dao cores. Xiao Yuan said with a smile. Xiao Yun, when are you leaving? I have also made a lot of star Dao pills. Not only is it enough for me to use, it is also enough for Hong Lan and the others to use. I will now take back the star power. Qin Yun patted the star nucleus and said with a smile. At this time, Ling Yun also activated devouring divine ability and absorbed the star power from the big star devils through the devil star overlord's body. The surroundings of the devil star overlord have already turned into a piece of flat land. Currently, there are thousands upon thousands of big star devils rushing over. After being enveloped by the frantic, devouring divine ability power, the bodies of those big star devils overflowed with white light. Countless balls of white light rushed towards the devil star overlord's body. The interior of the devil martial island, which was shrouded in black, evil energy, was dark. And now, from the bodies of those big star demons, balls of white-colored power of stars flew out, causing the dusky ground to become bright. The star core in Qin Yun's hand overflowed with white light. What caused Qin Yun and Xiao Yuan to be pleasantly surprised is that the space inside the heart they are in suddenly became larger. The Devil Star Overlord is growing bigger. It should be 1 meter taller now. Qin Yun said excitedly. Xiao Yun, this Devil Star Overlord can become smaller, but if it wants to become bigger, it will need even more star power. Ling Yun is also extremely happy. This is definitely an excellent puppet, and I will still have to refine in the future, carve some star runes and moon runes, and then refine some powerful weapons. Qin Yun felt excited just thinking about it. That's because the strength of the Devil Star Overlord can easily crush Xian Martial Realm. Only Xiao Yuan knows that he has such a Devil Star Overlord, so he is not afraid of others knowing about it. Otherwise, with the nature of the Divine Inscription Palace and those immortal sects, they would definitely fight to be the first to snatch it. The Devil Star Overlord continuously took back the star power here. Those big star devils also gradually returned to their original form and turned into the original devils. And the Devil Star Overlord also grew to 20 meters tall. Without the support of the star power, the strength of those devils immediately dropped by a lot. The Devil Star Overlord rushed over. Its 6 arms wildly swept left and right, killing a large number of devils. Many devils began to flee one after another. Those devil governing masters are still inside. Just now, they were the ones who controlled the big star devils to attack. Ling Yun said, "Find them and kill them." All right. Qin Yun also gave the star nucleus to Xiao Yuan to play with. Xiao Yuan also had a lot of fun. She controlled the Devil Star Overlord and punched those devils with her bare hands. The frantically fleeing devils were hit by the Devil Star Overlord's large palm and were smashed to pieces. The devils of the Devil Martial Island finally experienced what a true devil is. In the sky above the Devil Martial Island, the seniors of the various major powers are all asking the juniors about the situation inside. A portion of the disciples died inside, but they were not killed by Qin Yun. The seniors who scoundreled Qin Yun earlier are all extremely embarrassed. Bao Changshu is extremely worried. He looked at the hole in the barrier. Why hasn't Qin Yun returned yet? Qin Yun can't come back. He's already dead. The seriously injured Jian Nanhu sighed and said, "That Devil Star Overlord is very powerful. Its strength should be comparable to a martial king. I was injured in just a few moves." The disciples and seniors here are very clear about how strong Jian Nanhu is. It's best if Qin Yun dies. The old man from the Divine Inscription Palace said proudly. The reason you summoned the Devil Star to fall was to kill Qin Yun. Of course you think it's best if he dies, Granny Ma said angrily. Bao Changshu's anger immediately soared to the sky. That powerful aura filled with killing intent caused those juniors to feel extremely uncomfortable. They almost vomited blood. Bao Changsho, that's enough. Qin Yun killed 3 of our immortal disciples. Now that he's dead, we're even. The half-immortal from the Divine Inscription Palace said angrily. You even killed our elder when earlier. Jin Rian and the others also learned that the Immortal Weapon City's sect master and other upper echelons carried out a massacre here. They all killed the elders of the major powers. Although she was not present, she felt excited when she heard it. You bastards from the Divine Inscription Palace made such a devil star fall just to kill Qin Yin. We were almost killed by you, old bastard. Jin Rian shouted loudly. Fortunately, we also obtained some star Dao cores. Otherwise, I would have definitely let my Jian family's half-immortal kill you all. Little girl, you dare to scold me? The half-immortal from the Divine Inscription Palace is furious. The flesh on his old face twitched. So what if I scold you, you old bastard? Jian Ruyan is a very fiery woman. Furthermore, when she found out that Qin Yun might already be dead, she became extremely furious. You, Jian Ruyan said angrily again. Those immortal disciples deserve to die. One of them is called Lu Lingtian. He almost humiliated me and Long Xiaofeng. He is truly a beast. What's funny is that when that guy was fighting with Qin Yun, there was a transparent immortal disciple hiding in the dark and not attacking. When Lu Lingtian was killed by Qin Yun, that guy came out to sneak attack Qin Yun. Ha ha! The immortal disciples you guys nurtured are truly united. I was almost killed by Lu Lingtian. Yu Buffeng said, it was Qin Yun who saved us. Everyone immediately burst into an uproar. They all knew that those immortal disciples were killed by Qin Yun, but they did not know the details. But Qin Yun is also dead. Serves him right. The half-immortal from the Divine Inscription Palace laughed sinisterly. This is the result of killing us immortal disciples. At this moment, Jian Nanhu slowly said, I also killed an immortal disciple. I wonder what will happen to me. After saying that, he took out an immortal disciple's head and threw it to the half-immortal from the Divine Inscription Palace. He said coldly, this guy treated me as Qin Yun and attacked me indiscriminately. What a mortal disciple. He's simply bullshit. I chop him off in a few moves. Ahoo, you're really powerful. Jian Shitian laughed loudly. The half-immortal of the Divine Inscription Palace held the head. His hands trembled as he looked angrily at Jian Nanhu. If one were to talk about reason, then those immortal disciples are definitely in the wrong. The gray-robed half-immortal let out a long sigh and said, this trial has eliminated many so-called geniuses. Although they have outstanding talent, this is their fate. Is Qin Yun really dead? Chu Binyu is unable to accept this fact. He's really dead. Jian Nanhu sighed and said, Qin Yun is too stubborn. He clearly saw that I was defeated so miserably, and yet he still insisted on fighting. I also warned him. Granny Ma let out a long sigh. We can't let Jingming know about this. She will definitely be very sad. Bao Changsho shook his head. Let's wait a little longer. That guy's life is very tough. He shouldn't die that easily. Other than the people from the Immortal Weapon City continuing to wait, the people from Demon Moon Island are also waiting here. Because the person they sent in, Xiao Yuelon, is also a disciple with very good aptitude. Originally, those half-immortals planned to break the barrier and enter. However, now that the disciples are coming out of the small hole in the barrier one after another, they're also guarding here to prevent the devils and the Devil Star Overlord from escaping. Little Sister Yin, I'm going back. Qin Yin won't be able to live. Jian Nanhu is very clear about the Devil Star Overlord's strength and shook his head. Jian Ruyan doesn't dare to believe it. Although she often bickered with Qin Yin, she felt that Qin Yin was a good friend. She suddenly thought that Xiao Yuelon also went to look for Qin Yin. She felt that there might still be hope, because Xiao Yuelon is also very strong. On the Devil Marshall Island, the people from the Immortal Weapon City and Demon Moon Island are all waiting with heavy hearts. And Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon, who are inside the Devil Marshall Island, are controlling the Devil Star Overlord and playing happily. They have no idea that there are so many people above who are grieving for them. I found a devil governing master. Let's go and kill him. Xiao Yuan smiled tenderly and promptly controlled the Devil Star Overlord to rush over. This guy is dead for sure. The Devil Star Overlord shrunk a bit. It is more convenient for it to walk and quickly chase after the Devil Governing Master. Chapter 671. Wang Fu. If Qin Yun really died, then the happiest would definitely be the faction of the Inscription Palace. However, they also have quite a bit of regret in their hearts. This is because Qin Yun's greatest value is that he can be used to exchange for the Star Lord Inscription Spirit with Yang Shuriwei. A long family half-immortal said, Qin Yun is dead. It will be even more difficult to obtain the Star Lord Inscription Spirit. Right now, we don't know if Yang Shuriwei is really hiding in the remote Moon Mountain range. Only by capturing Qin Yun can we force her to show herself. The Medicine Immortal Valley's half-immortal let out a long sigh. He also felt that Qin Yun is dead, and it will be even more difficult to obtain the Star Lord Inscription Spirit. Otherwise, they still had a glimmer of hope. The Spirit Desolate was so big. If Yang Shuri you want to hide, it would not be a problem at all. It would be difficult to find her. However, it was different to find Qin Yun. He was in the Immortal Weapon City. Now, Qin Yun's death was equivalent to severing that sliver of hope. Jian Nanhu also felt that it was a great pity. I have been bitterly cultivating for the past few months, and my strength has increased by a lot. I will definitely be able to defeat Qin Yun. I didn't even have a chance to compete with him before he died. Brother Hu, is that Devil Star Overlord really very strong? Qin Yun's speed is very fast. Maybe he escaped and is just hiding after being injured. Jian Rian said. She has seen Qin Yun's ability to escape. It is not an ordinary level of strength. Jian Nanhu shook his head. The Devil Star Overlord's speed is at least twice faster than mine. No matter how fast Qin Yun is, he's only slightly faster than me. He's definitely not twice as fast. If he escapes with injuries, his speed will definitely be even slower. Granny Ma said, we can't use talismans or Dao tools inside. Otherwise, Qin Yun might be able to escape. I still have a Dao sword with Qin Yun. Consider it as a gift to him. He is an opponent worthy of respect. Jian Nanhu said without any heartache. Everyone knows that Jian Nanhu's Dao sword is a top-notch Dao tool. Especially those half-immortals who are familiar with Jian Shurtian. They were used by Jian Shurtian in the past. Not only that, many famous experts from the Jian family and the Sword Immortal Pavilion have used that sword before. At this moment, the half-immortal from the Divine Inscription Palace suddenly took out a sound transmission conch. After hearing the sound transmission, his expression changed slightly. We just received news that a Devil Governing Master's life talisman was burned. Why? Do you still suspect that it was Qin Yun who killed them? Who didn't know what was going on down there? Your Devil Governing Master must have wanted to control the Devil Star Overlord and was killed. Jian Nanhu coldly snorted and said. At this moment, a middle-aged man flew out from the island. He is a late-stage Spirit Martial Realm Martial Master. He said with a terrified expression that Devil Star Overlord is killing everywhere. Many devils and Devil Beast Kings were killed by him in a few moves. Our Devil Governing Masters are also being killed one after another. Jian Nanhu promptly asked, did you see the Devil Star Overlord kill the Devil Beast King? The middle-aged man was sent by the Divine Inscription Palace to contact the Devil Governing Master. He quickly nodded and said, I saw it. He killed the Devil Beast King in 3 moves. Then, take away the magical Beast King's crystal core. Also, the Devil Star Overlord has recovered a lot of star power, allowing those devils to return to their original form. Elder, hurry up and tear down this barrier. Capture the Devil Star Overlord alive. That is a very good puppet. As long as we send out a Martial King Realm Devil Governing Master, we can control the Devil Star Overlord. Do you know, after that guy devoured a lot of energy, he became bigger and stronger. As long as he has energy, he can constantly become stronger. If we capture the Devil Star Overlord alive and summon a few stars with dense star power, the Devil Star Overlord can also possess the power of a half-immortal or even an immortal. Hearing the middle-aged man's words, the half-immortal of the Divine Inscription Palace immediately became wild with joy. He said, "Everyone, let's quickly join hands and quickly open this barrier." "Do it yourself," Bao Changsho said coldly. Qin Yun might still be alive. Once the barrier is opened, you can also go in and look for him. The half-immortal of the Divine Inscription Palace quickly said. Back then, the people who set up this barrier were a group of very strong Dao inscription masters. Even a half-immortal would not be able to open it that easily. "You guys do it yourselves." Qin Yun died without even dregs left. "Don't believe him," Jian Nanhu quickly said. At that time, Qin Yun faced the Devil Star Overlord alone. Maybe he had already become the energy of the Devil Star Overlord. The half-immortal of the Divine Inscription Palace said angrily, "If you don't do it, we'll do it ourselves." Then, he instructed the middle-aged man to invite the Martial King Realm Devil Governing Master over. Jian Rian asked in a low voice, "Sec Master, are Devil Governing Masters rarely used?" Bao Changsho nodded. "They are all people with extremely heaven-defying mental power, so they are very rare." Han Fenghu and the others from his faction only watched from the side and did not make a move to break the barrier. Therefore, only the group of people from the Divine Inscription Palace are attacking the barrier with all their might. "Elder, how much longer do you need?" the middle-aged man asked. "I don't know. It might take more than half a day." The half-immortal is also somewhat anxious. If we're a little slower, that guy might absorb all the star power inside. When that happens, he will definitely become stronger, and it will definitely be difficult to control. Our strongest devil governing master is only a martial king. The middle-aged man said worriedly, "If that guy's strength far surpasses the martial king realm, it will be difficult to control. Then what do we do now?" The half-immortal is extremely anxious and took out a dazzling golden talisman. The talisman is very thick, like a command medallion. It is completely golden in color. "This is King Talisman. This guy is really willing to spend a lot of money," Han Fenghu said in a low voice. The half-immortal took out a few King Talismans. They're all very precious. The preciousness of King Talismans is no less than a Dao tool. Furthermore, they are extremely powerful. Even many martial emperors do not have such talismans. "Is this the realm-breaking King Talisman?" Han Fenghu said with a frown. "If these few are smashed down, they should be able to break the barrier." The gray-robed half-immortal nodded. "This kind of realm-breaking King Talisman is very difficult to refine. He is really willing to use it." Everyone heard what the middle-aged man said earlier. The Devil Star Overlord is a very special existence. As long as it has energy, its power will increase explosively, and there is no bottleneck. It is normal for the Divine Inscription Palace to want it. After all, it is a very expensive item. The half-immortal of the Divine Inscription Palace smashed the King Talisman in his hand down. After it touched the barrier, it released a burst of intense golden light. The golden light enveloped the entire Devil Martial Island. "It didn't break the barrier," Jian Rian said with a frown. "The barrier's power has been weakened, and some places have been destroyed. After all, this was set up by those ancient inscription masters back then. It's not easy to break." Jian Shitian said. "Martial kings can go in, and they can even use weapons. Quickly let that Martial King Realm Devil Governing Master go in." A Martial King from the Divine Inscription Palace charged in very smoothly, and the half-immortal is still blocked by the barrier. Those few King Talismans only weakened the barrier a little and did not completely destroy it. "I thought that if we all joined hands to attack, we would be able to break it in 2 hours. Now it seems like it's not enough," Jian Shitian said. Not long after, a red-robed old man arrived. He held a horsetail whisk in his hand. After understanding the situation, he became extremely excited and entered the Devil Martial Island. "I also want to go in and take a look," Jian Rian said in a low voice. "Don't go in. It's very dangerous down there," Jian Shitian said sternly. Inside the Devil Marshall Island, Qin Yun controlled the Devil Star Overlord to chase and kill those Devil Beast Kings. The Devil Governing Masters here were all killed by him and Xiao Yuelon. Xiao Yuelon is currently controlling the Devil Star Overlord to attack a very large Devil Beast. Suddenly, a red light shone down. There's someone. This guy is very strong. He's a Martial King, Qin Yun said in astonishment through the Devil Star Overlord. Looking at his attire, could he be a Martial King realm Devil Governing Master? Xiao Yuelon said because the Devil Governing Master they killed earlier was also dressed in a similar manner. However, he didn't have a horsetail whisk. Yuelon, quickly kill him, Qin Yun said with a smile. Let's see how strong this Devil Star Overlord is, Xiao Yuelon said with a chuckle. This Devil Governing Master actually wants to control the Devil Star Overlord. She controlled the Devil Star Overlord to jump up and punch at the Devil Governing Master. Boom! The fist energy condensed from star power produced a burst of explosive sound. That Devil Governing Master is also very shocked. He never expected that he would not be able to control the Devil Star Overlord. His strength is also not weak. He quickly dodged and dodged the punch. Then I can only defeat you in order to better control you. The Devil Governing Master is very experienced and calmly said. Then, he put away the horsetail whisk and threw out a talisman. Didn't they say that talismans can't be used in here? Qin Yun said in astonishment. Xiao Yun, maybe the barrier has weakened, so only Martial Kings can enter and use talismans. Xiao Yuelon said. Do you have any good weapons? Well, of course I do. Qin Yun chuckled and took out the Nine-Sun Divine Hammer. He released the Nine-Sun Divine Hammer for the Devil Star Overlord to use. After the Devil Star Overlord grabbed the Nine-Sun Divine Hammer, Qin Yun promptly controlled the Divine Hammer to grow bigger. This guy, he's dead for sure, Qin Yun said with a smile. Yuelon, don't worry and hit him. As long as you hit him, he'll definitely die. All right, Xiao Yuelon said excitedly. Then, she closed her eyes and controlled the Devil Star Overlord to charge towards the Devil Governing Master. The Devil Star Overlord's speed was originally very good. That Martial King is a Devil Governing Master, and his combat power is not very high. Furthermore, he underestimated the Devil Star Overlord's strength. Furthermore, the weapon in the Devil Star Overlord's hand is the Nine-Sun Divine Hammer. When the Devil Governing Master saw the hammer coming at him, he promptly used the Xian tool in his hand to block. There was a loud bang. The Nine-Sun Divine Hammer directly shattered the Xian tool. The Devil Governing Master was also smashed to the ground. The armor on his body exploded and the skin on his chest ruptured. Io, this guy is really weak, Xiao Yuelon said with a charming smile. Go kill him and take out the Dao Core. Qin Yun said, Devil Governing Master. His martial spirit is definitely not bad. After the Devil Star Overlord went over, it pressed its palm on the head and crushed it. At this moment, the group of people from the Divine Inscription Palace above the Devil Marshall Island also saw a life talisman burn. Chapter 672. Overwhelming righteousness. There weren't many Devil Governing Masters to begin with, and Martial King Realm Devil Governing Masters were even fewer. There was only one in the Divine Inscription Palace. Now that the Devil Governing Master has been killed by the Devil Star Overlord, it means that the Divine Inscription Palace's wishful thinking has been ruined. When the half-immortal of the Divine Inscription Palace heard this news, his body slightly swayed. Now that a Martial King Realm Devil Governing Master has died, and he even wasted a few rare Realm-breaking King Talismans, this is a heavy loss to him. The half-immortals of the other powers are extremely happy in their hearts, but they did not show it. Only Bao Changsho and the others revealed gloating smiles. Truly trying to steal a chicken, only to end up losing the rice. Bao Changsho said, Your immortal weapon city, don't be complacent. Qin Yun is dead. The half-immortal of the Divine Inscription Palace shouted angrily. This Qin Yun, he has the wildfire inscription spirit. His talent in inscription is so high, but now he's dead. Ha ha! Bao Changsho and the others' faces immediately became pained. Chu Binyu said angrily, "Isn't it all because of you? You bastard! In order to deal with Qin Yun, you summoned some devil star? You caused the death of so many disciples and even killed those precious devil governing masters. You truly shot yourself in the foot. No matter what, I have to kill Qin Yun. This guy killed 3 of our immortal disciples. I definitely can't let him live. Even if we suffer heavy losses, as long as Qin Yun dies, it will be considered a profit." The half-immortal of the Divine Inscription Palace said loudly, "One of your 3 immortal disciples was killed by me, Jian Nanhu." Jian Nanhu said, "Could it be that the head I gave you is not an immortal disciple's? You?" The half-immortal of the Divine Inscription Palace was so angry that he couldn't speak. If not for Jian Shitian's protection, he would have already torn Jian Nanhu to shreds. Not convinced? You could just send out stronger immortal disciples. I'll kill another one. Why can Qin Yun kill 2 and I can only kill 1? I have to kill 3 immortal disciples to surpass Qin Yun. Jian Nanhu said coldly, "I want to surpass Qin Yun." Jian Shitian, take care of your grandson. The half-immortal of the Divine Inscription Palace said in a deep voice, "If he acts recklessly, don't blame me for being impolite. It should be you who takes care of your young people." Those few immortal disciples from before were all extremely arrogant, especially that Lu Ling Tian who was killed by Qin Yun. He actually humiliated my Jian family's little girl. Jian Shitian immediately became furious. "If not for that guy's death, I would never have let you off." At this moment, a middle-aged man said in a low voice, "Elder, the demon governing master we sent in is dead. So, should we continue to break the barrier?" "Of course. Even if that Devil Star Overlord is dead, I will still chop him into pieces." The half-immortal of the Divine Inscription Palace is extremely furious. He can only vent his anger on the Devil Star Overlord. Jian Shitian arrived beside Bao Changsho and said in low voice, "We should also take action. Maybe Qin Yun is still alive. If we enter earlier, our chances will be higher." Bao Changsho nodded. Soon after, the Sword Immortal Pavilion, Immortal Weapon City, Demon Moon Paradise, Demon Moon Island, as well as Han Fenghu and the gray-robed half-immortal all began to attack the barrier. This made the half-immortal of the Divine Inscription Palace even more furious, because when he asked people to help him break the barrier, no one responded. But now, in order to save Qin Yun, they joined hands to attack. Qin Yun is dead for sure. Don't hold any hope. The half-immortal of the Divine Inscription Palace said coldly. Jian Nanhu also thinks so. Although he doesn't wish for Qin Yun to die, he believes in what he saw. He is very clear about the strength of the Devil Star Overlord. After the Devil Star Overlord killed the demon governing master, it swallowed it and entered its heart. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelan are inside the heart. They also obtain the Tao Core. The martial spirit inside the Tao Core seems to be very strange. It's white, Xiao Yuelan said. And I wonder what kind of martial spirit it is. Qin Yun promptly used the soul refining technique and extracted the martial spirit inside. After taking it out, it is indeed a pure white martial spirit. Xiao Yun, try fusing with it, Xiao Yuelan said with a smile. If this martial spirit ability is special, I can also copy it. All right. Qin Yun promptly fused the pure white martial spirit into his Nether Sun Tao Core. Not long after, the white martial spirit was smoothly devoured by the Nether Sun martial spirit. The Nether Sun martial spirit successfully devoured the white martial spirit, but the Nether Sun martial spirit is still black. Ling Yun is the Nether Sun Tao spirit, so she can immediately sense the ability of the martial spirit that Qin Yun devoured. Could it be the overwhelming righteous martial spirit? Ling Yun said in surprise. What? The name of this martial spirit sounds too strange. Qin Yun is somewhat puzzled and asked, "What is the specific ability of this martial spirit?" It is able to release the energy of overwhelming righteous energy. It can intimidate the evil spirits. It's a special kind of energy to fight against the evil spirits. For example, the evil spirits are hay and the overwhelming righteous energy is a flame. A little flame can ignite a large area of hay. As for the specifics, it depends on the individual. In short, the power you release through this martial spirit can have a very strong killing power when dealing with the evil spirits. Also, those evil spirits and devils won't be able to possess your body. Lingyan explained somewhat excitedly. Qin Yun quickly told Xiao Yuelon about this matter. After Xiao Yuelon heard this, she is slightly pleasantly surprised and quickly said, Xiao Yun, release some of that overwhelming righteous Tao power. Let me see if I can copy it. Qin Yun quickly used the Nether Sun martial spirit to sense the overwhelming righteous martial spirit and then forced out a pure white energy. Xiao Yuelon stretched out her lily-white hand and touched it. Then, she held Qin Yun's hand. It's done. Xiao Yuelon also gave it a try and released that pure white energy. Yuelon, you are much more powerful than that little girl Yuma. You can directly copy other people's abilities. Qin Yun said with a smile. Xiao Yun, it's time for us to go out. Xiao Yuelon giggled and touched Qin Yun's face. Qin Yun pulled Xiao Yuelon, and the two of them used the mysterious penetration divine ability and left the Devil Star Overlord's body. When he came out, Qin Yun also took the star nucleus. Outside, he can also use the star nucleus to control the Devil Star Overlord. Rumble. Suddenly, a loud rumbling sound came from the sky. The barrier is broken, Xiao Yuelon said. Qin Yun quickly retrieved the Nine Sun Divine Hammer and placed the Devil Star Overlord into the second pearl of the Nine Sun Divine Spirit. Boom, boom, boom. After the barrier was broken, it set off waves of violent energy clouds. Countless energy clouds collided with each other, producing loud rumbling sounds, and lightning flashed repeatedly. Inside the barrier, there are still many disciples. Seeing that the barrier has been destroyed, they quickly soared into the sky. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelon also followed the group of disciples and quickly flew into the sky. Just as the seniors of the powers in the sky broke the barrier, they sensed that many disciples flew out. That's Qin Yun's aura. Chu Binyu shouted in pleasant surprise. Qin Yun is not dead. Many people saw Qin Yun fly out from the black ink cloud. Jian Nanhu also looked at Qin Yun in disbelief. The people of the Immortal Weapon City all cheered. The half-immortal from the Divine Inscription Palace has an ugly expression, as if he ate shit. He spent a lot of effort to summon the Devil Star and even sent out his immortal disciples to deal with Qin Yun. But now, the immortal disciples of the Divine Inscription Palace have died, and a few devil-governing masters have also died. However, Qin Yun came out alive and well. In this way, everything that the Divine Inscription Palace did to Qin Yun was futile, and they suffered heavy losses. Qin Yun, you bastard, you actually didn't die. This doesn't make sense. Jian Nanhu rushed over and asked, Didn't you tell me not to die? What did you say that you defeated me? Qin Yun laughed. Jian Nanhu, even an idiot like you didn't die, how can I die? What did you say? I'm an idiot? I'll fuck your grandpa. Jian Nanhu immediately became furious. All right, since you saved me, I won't bother with you this time. Qin Yun, why didn't you die? The half-immortal of the Divine Inscription Palace shouted angrily from afar. Bao Changshu and the others also arrived beside Qin Yun to protect him. Because I ran fast. Qin Yun chuckled and said, Actually, speaking of which, I still have to thank an old man with a horsetail whisk. I was originally eaten by that Devil Star Overlord, but after that old man with horsetail whisk fought with the Devil Star Overlord, I was inexplicably spat out. Otherwise, I might have died. Qin Yun deliberately said this to anger the half-immortal of the Divine Inscription Palace. You deserve to die. The half-immortal of the Divine Inscription Palace is so angry that he almost vomited blood. If I deserved to die, I would have died a long time ago. Qin Yun chuckled and said, A slut will be taken care of by the heavens. The reason why Qin Yun was able to survive was actually because the devil-governing Master Martial King of the Divine Inscription Palace saved him. This caused many people to laugh loudly in their hearts. The expressions of the people from the Divine Inscription Palace's faction are all as if they ate yellow lotus. The word bitter is written all over their faces. The gray-robed, half-immortal said, "This unofficial martial arts tournament can be considered as invalid. We will discuss how to hold it again in the next few days. Please wait patiently for our news." This kind of result is not something we want to see. When Bao Changsho saw that Qin Yun was able to return, he felt a lot more at ease. His face is full of smiles. On one hand, he is very worried about Qin Yun. On the other hand, he is afraid that Bing Xing will blame him. "Let's go back," Bao Changsho shouted. Before Qin Yun left, he looked at the disciples of Demon Moon Island in the distance. One of them is wearing a mask. It is Xiao Yuelan. Xiao Yuelan's eyes flickered with a smile as she bid farewell to him. Yu Buffing said, "Although I have experienced many dangers, my harvest from this trip is huge. If nothing unexpected happens, I should be able to step into the middle stage of the spirit martial realm through those star Dao cores." That's right. The Divine Inscription Palace can be considered to have done something great. Jian Rian laughed loudly. This caused the expression of the half-immortal of the Divine Inscription Palace to become even uglier. Chapter 673. Bing Xing's doubts on the way back. Qin Yun learned that a battle took place in the sky above the Devil Martial Island. It was even Bao Changsho and Chu Binyu who took action. He is very shocked, because Granny Ma and Bao Changsho, people who don't like to cause trouble, actually killed so many martial kings and martial emperors. Moreover, they are from a Medicine Immortal Valley, Azure Flame Immortal Mountain, and those few families. Jian Ruyan said, "Qin Yun, how did you survive?" "My wife saved me," Qin Yun said. They are sitting in a very large spaceship. Jian Ruyan also knows that Qin Yun's wife is very strong, so she did not ask much. "Qin Yun, how many Star Dao cores have you collected?" Jian Ruyan asked. "Quite a few." Qin Yun smiled. "What about you guys?" "We also got quite a few. If you don't have any, I can give you some. You saved me. I don't want to owe you a favor." Jian Ruyan said, "Don't tell me that the favor you owe me is only worth a few Star Dao cores." Qin Yun said with a laugh. "You bastard." Jian Ruyan doesn't know what to say. At this moment, Granny Ma walked into their small hall and asked, "Qin Yun, is the Devil Star Overlord still inside the Devil Martial Island?" "It should still be." Qin Yun curled his lips and said, "The Devil Star Overlord is very important. He doesn't want others to know that he has it." The guys from the Divine Inscription Palace went to capture the Devil Star Overlord. If they capture it and successfully make it into a puppet, their strength will definitely increase by a lot. Granny Ma said very worriedly, "Let them be." Qin Yun sighed. "Those guys have always wanted to capture me. In the future, they will become even more intense and come to capture me. Qin Yun, you have to be careful in the future. Now, there's another Divine Inscription Palace that wants to deal with you." Granny Ma said, "There's nothing I can do about it. Who told me to be so valuable?" Qin Yun said with a bitter smile. "Qin Yun, is your relationship with that Yang Shuriwei really that good?" Jian Rian asked with some doubt. "That Yang Shuriwei is really amazing. It is said that she is not even at the spirit martial realm, yet she managed to snatch the Star Lord Inscription Spirit in the remote Moon Mountain range. She was searched by so many experts for so long, but nothing happened. Big Sister Yang, she treats me very well." Qin Yun did not say much about Yang Shuryu. He was also very worried about her. He also planned that after the martial arts tournament, as long as he obtained the divine ability, he would immediately head to the remote Moon Mountain range to look for Yang Shuriwei. He obtained a Devil Star Overlord puppet, and its strength is comparable to Martial King's. The Devil Star Overlord's body is very sturdy. If it were to fight with some stronger Martial Kings, it would be able to resist for a while. "You're all tired. Rest well. We'll talk about it after we return to the palace." Granny Ma said, "The ship has many rooms." Qin Yun and company each went to a comfortable room. Qin Yun is in his room. He is extremely excited. He is not tired at all. Furthermore, he is still reminiscing the feeling of controlling the Devil Star Overlord to kill. Yuner, we've really struck it rich this time, Qin Yun said with a smile. Those fellows from the Divine Inscription Palace originally wanted to use the Devil Star to evolve the devils. Then a devil governing master would control the devils to capture me, but in the end, Ling Yuner said, they miscalculated. They didn't expect that the summoned Devil Star would have an overlord inside. That overlord controls all the star devil spirits, so those devil governing masters can't directly control those big star devils. What made Qin Yun the happiest is that he stayed with Xiao Yuelan for a period of time. Yuner are the star Dao cores I obtained, and the origin spirit Xian pills I prepared enough for me to step into the middle stage of the spirit martial realm. Qin Yun also wants to break through and see what's inside the third pearl of the nine-sun divine spirit. I'm not too sure about the specifics. Go back and ask Bing Xing, Ling Yuner said. In short, don't absorb the energy of that star nucleus. Qin Yun is also reluctant to absorb the energy of the star nucleus because it is the energy core of the Devil Star Overlord. If he were to absorb it, it would not be easy to replenish it in the future. The Devil Star Overlord is very strong. In an emergency, it can become a life-saving talisman. Of course, he doesn't dare to use it casually. Otherwise, he would definitely be suppressed by many sanctimonious and righteous sections. Even if he used it, he wouldn't let others know that it was his. A day passed, and Qin Yun returned to the Immortal Weapon Palace Hall. The moment Qin Yun returned, he immediately rushed to the Immortal Weapon Palace Hall. Bing Xing is sitting beside the immortal pool with her back facing the door. She felt the door open and her delicate body slightly trembled. Because Qin Yun has been gone for the past few days, she felt somewhat uncomfortable. In the past, Qin Yun would come here from time to time. Although Qin Yun always spoke a lot of nonsense in the Immortal Weapon Palace Hall, it made Bing Xing not feel so lonely. The martial arts tournament ended so quickly? Bing Xing asked. A lot of big things happened. I almost died. Qin Yun returned and immediately ran to Bing Xing's side. His saliva flew everywhere as he talked about the matters of the Devil Martial Island. Bing Xing is also secretly astonished when she heard this. You said you subdued the Devil Star Overlord? Take it out and let me see, Bing Xing said. He did not hide the matter of the Devil Star Overlord from Bing Xing and immediately released it for her to see. Bing Xing knows about his past life, and she is able to coexist peacefully with him here. Therefore, Qin Yun trusts her more. Of course, he left out many things that he did not say. Devil Star Overlord. This kind of guy dares to call himself an overlord? Truly overestimating himself. Bing Xing looked at the three-headed and six-armed Devil Star Overlord and said disdainfully, This guy was killed by me. He is indeed not an overlord. Although Qin Yun said this, he's still somewhat excited when he looked at the Devil Star Overlord. Bing Xing said again, What about the star nucleus you obtained? Take it out and let me see. Sister Bing Xing, that is very precious to me. Don't act recklessly. I want to bring the Devil Star Overlord to the remote Moon Mountain range to save Sister Yang. Qin Yun said worriedly, Sister Yang is in great danger in the remote Moon Mountain range. She's being chased by many martial emperors and martial kings. Don't worry, she is the young palace master of the Guanghan Palace. Even if you die, she won't die. Bing Xing extended her hand and indicated for Qin Yun to take out the star nucleus. Qin Yun reluctantly took out the star nucleus. After Bing Xing took it, she lightly snorted and the star nucleus suddenly emitted a white light. Sister Bing Xing, you don't act recklessly. Qin Yun immediately turned pale with fright. He jumped and shouted. Bing Xing saw him jumping up and down anxiously and said with a sneer, Take this. Qin Yun promptly sensed the Devil Star Overlord behind him and suddenly slapped down with its palm. Furthermore, it also released an extremely cold energy. Hoo. When the palm pressed down, an ice-cold wind burst out and enveloped Qin Yun's body. Qin Yun has the Heavenly Lion bloodline and cultivated the Heavenly Lion Xian body. Originally, he was not afraid of ice and fire, but now he felt his body stiffen. Bing Xing saw that it is about time and quickly controlled the Devil Star Overlord to retract its palm. She walked over and placed her hand on the back of Qin Yun's neck and sucked out the ice-cold power from his body. After Qin Yun recovered, he gasped for breath and looked at Bing Xing in astonishment. Sister Bing Xing, is this the power of the Devil Star Overlord? Why didn't I discover that he had such a terrifying ice-cold power? That ice-cold power is mine, Bing Xing said. Yours? Your power can be transmitted to the Devil Star Overlord through the star nucleus? Qin Yun found it hard to believe. I'll return it to you. Bing Xing returned the star nucleus to Qin Yun. After Qin Yun received it, he felt the star nucleus turn ice-cold. In the future, you can also release that kind of ice-cold power through the star nucleus. It's just that it won't be as strong as when I use it, Bing Xing said. Also, if you find that Sister Yang, bring her here to see me. Qin Yun is pleasantly surprised. He never expected that Bing Xing would be able to improve and upgrade the Devil Star Overlord. Got it. Qin Yun quickly nodded and asked, Sister Bing Xing, how did you do it? Can you teach me? I want the Devil Star Overlord to be able to use even more power. With your current cultivation, you're still unable to do it. If there's a chance in the future, I'll teach you again, Bing Xing said. All right. Qin Yun kept the Devil Star Overlord and the star nucleus and took out many star Dao cores. He asked, Sister Bing Xing, I want to transform my mind into moon and then add my 100+ origin spirit Xian pills. Is that enough? It's not enough. Bing Xing glanced at the large pile of star Dao cores and said coldly, Qin Yun has several thousand star Dao cores, which is equivalent to nearly 200 origin spirit Xian pills. Sigh. Qin Yun sighed somewhat vexedly. This is still not enough. Transforming your mind into moon has a great risk. The most important thing is that you have to know how to resist the evil Yin power. After your mind transforms into moon, it will allow you to easily sense the evil Yin power and then absorb it along with the heaven and earth spiritual energy. Before you master the power to resist the evil Yin power, I won't allow you to step into the middle stage of the spirit martial realm. If you master it, come find me. I can help you, Bing Xing said. Of course, I can't guarantee whether or not I can break through. Qin Yun cannot expose the Nine Sun Divine Spirit. He feels that with the Nine Sun Divine Spirit, he will definitely be able to resist the evil Yin power. Suddenly, he thought of the overwhelming righteous martial spirit he fused with before. He promptly released a pure white energy ball in his palm and asked, Sister Bing Xing, can you see if this energy of mine can resist the evil Yin power? This is the power of overwhelming righteous energy. Bing Xing immediately widened her beautiful eyes and looked at Qin Yun in incomparable shock. This is impossible. Bing Xing shook her head repeatedly and said in disbelief, It's impossible for a guy like you to master this kind of pure energy. Why? I'm not bad, Qin Yun said unhappily, puffed up his face and snorted. You don't know. Even people with the overwhelming righteous martial spirit can only use the Tao power released by the martial spirit to intimidate the evil spirits. However, they're unable to condense it. This requires a person to have sufficient moral cultivation. And in your previous life, you were a scoundrel. This will also affect your future life. You will need to accumulate enough merit in your future life to offset the evil you did in your previous life. Even if you're a good person in this life, you are only in your 20s. And in your previous life, you have done evil for tens of thousands of years. It is not something that you can make up for in 20 years. The reason why Bing Xing is unable to accept this matter is also because she does not dare to believe that Qin Yun was not a great evil person in his previous life. Because she hated Qin Yun's previous life. Qin Yun suddenly recalled that Xiao Yuelon once said that he was a good person in his previous life. Chapter 674. Fantasy Fusion Training. Qin Yun looked at Bing Xing's conflicted eyes and asked softly, Sister Bing Xing, can you help me cultivate my mental power now? Bing Xing had just promised Qin Yun that as long as he could suppress the eviline power, she would do her best to help him transform his mind into moon. Originally, he thought that he would have to wait for several years before he could master the power to suppressing evil. But now, he can already use overwhelming righteous power. If Qin Yun could use other powers to suppress the evil, Bing Xing might feel better. However, Qin Yun managed to cultivate the righteous aura that was extremely difficult to condense, because in this way, it could indirectly prove that Qin Yun's previous life was not that bad. Bing Xing has been recalling her past life with Qin Yun. She frowned. She is very certain that Qin Yun is a big baddie. Furthermore, he is very famous in the immortal desolate. Sister Bing Xing, when I was in Devil Marshall Island, I met my wife. She also had a past life. She said that I am not a bad person, but a good person. That's why she married me, said Qin Yun. Your wife? Bing Xing could not accept the fact that Qin Yun was a good person in his previous life. Her name is Xiao Yuelan. She is Yueme's big sister. The two of them look a bit similar. Maybe they were sisters in their previous life. I don't think I asked them about this matter. Qin Yun said, That's impossible. How could she be your wife in this life? Bing Xing immediately shouted loudly. Her eyes are filled with disbelief. She now knows who Qin Yun's wife is. Qin Yun said, Sister Bing Xing, you should have been sealed in that immortal tomb a long time ago. And for the next 10 to 20,000 years, my previous life was still alive. I'm only in my 20s now, which means that I've only been dead for 20 years. I guess that elder sister Yang, Yuelan, and Yueme died around the same time as me. By the way, Sister Yang died a little earlier than me, so she reincarnated a few years earlier. So she's older than me. When Bing Xing heard Qin Yun's words, she fell into deep thought. She said with a frown, After I was sealed, did you turn over a new leaf and become a good person? This was impossible. You're very bad. Qin Yun thought about it and felt that he might have turned over a new leaf. After Bing Xing was sealed, he had been a good person for tens of thousands of years. I don't have memories of my previous life. I don't know what's going on either. Furthermore, I don't dare to awaken the memories of my previous life. Qin Yun said with a troubled expression, Sister Bing Xing, let's not dwell on the matters of my previous life. Bing Xing took a few deep breaths and gradually calmed down. Do you know what relationship you had with Xiao Yuelan's past life? Qin Yun originally did not want to dwell on the matters of his previous life, but when he heard Bing Xing's question, he suddenly became curious. He said, What's the relationship? We should be quite in love with each other, so we can continue our fate. Bing Xing said coldly, I really don't know what happened after I was sealed, but before I was sealed, you were the twin sisters' enemy. They've been hunting you for thousands of years. Really? Qin Yun immediately widened his eyes. What did I do to them? They actually chased me for so long? As far as I know, you played with their feelings and even swindled them of many precious treasures. Also, their master was sealed by you and his whereabouts are unknown. Their master in their previous life was also a famous immortal king. When Bing Xing saw Qin Yun's face filled with guilt, she said again, After their master was sealed by you, many of their master's treasures appeared on your body. All right, their master is also a woman. She's a famous female immortal king in the immortal desolate. Qin Yun did not know what to say. He curled his lips and said with a smile, That's all in my previous life. Sister Bing Xing, when will you start guiding me in cultivation? I need to quickly transform my mind into moon. Isn't the martial arts tournament limited to the initial stage spirit martial realm? Bing Xing did not continue talking about Qin Yun's previous life. She also saw that after Qin Yun heard about those things, his eyes are filled with sadness and guilt. She now truly believes that Qin Yun's current life is different from his previous life. He is indeed a good person, although a bit cunning. However, Qin Yun feels very sad in his heart because he feels that his previous life was too much of a bastard. He has let down Xiao Yuelan and Xiao Yueme. Xiao Yun, don't be sad. There must be a reason why Yuelan loves you so much in this life. Furthermore, Yueme and Big Sister Yang are also very good to you. Ling Yun said. Bing Xing has been sealed for a very long time. She definitely doesn't know what happened later on, so there must be a misunderstanding. Qin Yun recalled the sweet time he spent with Xiao Yuelon on Devil Marshall Island. The sadness in his heart has also been swept away. I don't care about the martial arts tournament anymore. I need to quickly step into the middle stage, spirit martial realm, and then go to the remote Moon Mountain range to save Big Sister Yang. Qin Yun said, You don't have to worry about her. Didn't you say that she has the Black Moon martial spirit? Even if I go in, I won't be able to find her. You have to know what kind of place the remote Moon Mountain range is. Is the territory of the Guanghan Palace in the spirit desolate? Bing Xing said. Is this true? Qin Yun asked in surprise. The Nether Moon Palace, Fire Moon City, and Demon Moon Island were all built by the people of the Guanghan Palace. Of course, I'm not too sure about the current situation of the three moon sections. In short, many of the cultivation techniques of the three moon sects came from the Guanghan Palace. Bing Xing said, My son in Moonheart Sutra was also taught to me by your big sister Yang. Qin Yun suddenly recalled that Demon Moon Island had taken special care of him. It was most likely because of Yang Shiryu. Yang Shiryu had previously agreed to join the Nether Moon Palace, but that was before she awakened her memories. After she awakened her memories, she came to the Spirit Desolate and learned about the three moon sections. Qin Yun thought about it carefully and felt that Demon Moon Island was still loyal to the Guanghan Palace. That was why Yang Shiryu had asked Demon Moon Island to take special care of him. Sister Bing Xing, Big Sister Yang, Yuelon and Yuemei, what were their names in their previous lives? Qin Yun asked curiously. I don't want to tell you. I'm worried that you'll trigger the memories of your previous life. Bing Xing seemed to have mentioned their names before for this reason. Qin Yun felt a little more at ease. At the very least, Yang Shiryu would not be found that easily. However, she is definitely trapped in the remote Moon Mountain range. Since you're in a hurry to transform your mind into a moon, then let's begin now. Even with my help, you might not succeed. With your situation, this process will be rather difficult. Go back to your residence and set up a secret room. Then, arrange the star Dao cores in the form of a formation and activate the star power inside. Then, eat all of your origin spirit Xian pills and enter the fantasy field to find me in the forbidden area. After Bing Xing finished speaking, she jumped into the immortal pool. She also wanted to enter the fantasy field. Qin Yun suddenly felt excited as he hurriedly ran back. After Qin Yun returned to his room, he created a quiet, secret room. Then, he followed Bing Xing's instructions and quickly set it up. The secret room is extremely sealed and the aura could not flow out. A large number of star Dao cores were piled up by him and released a very dense amount of star power through the formation. Qin Yun ate the 100+ origin spirit Xian pills and laid on the bed. He entered the fantasy field and came to the safe city. He quickly rushed to the forbidden area. This time, he had obtained permission, so he was not afraid of being punished for entering the forbidden area. Qin Yun, who was running with all his might, passed through the world of ice and snow in half a day and arrived beside the immortal pool in the cave. When he arrived, he saw Bing Xing sitting beside the immortal pool. Bing Xing is wearing a beautiful snow-white dress. Her expression is cold and beautiful. She is sitting cross-legged beside the immortal pool. She exudes a dignified and holy aura, giving off the feeling of a fairy. Come here, sit down, Bing Xing said coldly. Qin Yun also sensed that the atmosphere is not right. At this moment, Bing Xing seems to have eaten gunpowder. Her ice-cold voice seems to be filled with anger. Qin Yun did not dare to say anything else. He obediently walked over and sat opposite of Bing Xing. The two of them are very close to each other. He looked at Bing Xing's beautiful immortal face and could not help but secretly praise her in his heart. Are you thinking of something filthy in your heart? Bing Xing's cold voice caused Qin Yun to shiver. No, absolutely not. Qin Yun did not think of anything earlier. He was only admiring Bing Xing's appearance. Humph! Bing Xing slightly frowned as she recalled something that made her extremely angry. Last time, She took off her clothes here and was seen by Qingyun. This matter made her brood over it. Especially in this place, it is the easiest to recall her memories. Qingyun suddenly understood why Bingxing is so angry. He immediately said righteously and sternly, "Sister Bingxing, last time, I'm really sorry about last time. I really didn't have any other thoughts. You should remember that the moment I saw you, I immediately killed you. I didn't have any other dirty thoughts. If I were really a wretched person, I would definitely hide and watch to my heart's content." Bingxing coldly shouted, "Shut up, don't mention this matter again." Within Qin Yun's illusory space, Ling Yun is said with a charming smile, "Xiao Yun, she must have despised you for not looking at her more, so she felt a little angry. She was such a great beauty, and not only did you not look at her more, you even cruelly killed her. If it were me, I would also be very angry." Qin Yun secretly cursed Ling Yun for always saying such nonsense. "Sister Bingxing, can we begin?" Qin Yun asked. Bingxing said with a solemn expression, "Qin Yun, I want to use the Sun and Moon Heart Sutra to cultivate with you. Only this method can allow you to quickly absorb the immortal energy in the fantasy field. Furthermore, I can also guide you to use the immortal bed in the fantasy field to buy more time to cultivate your mind." When Qin Yun heard this, he immediately became extremely excited. Bingxing said sternly, "However, this is a very big problem, because I can't be sure if I really trust you or not. I need to try to know. This will be very risky. If something goes wrong, it will cause your mind to be damaged, and nothing will happen to me. Are you willing to try? This is the fastest way to transform your mind into moon. Otherwise, you can only use other methods." Chapter 675. Star Spirit Immortal Qin Yun also knows that if there is a mistake in cultivating the Sun and Moon Heart Sutra, the one with the lower cultivation would suffer the most serious injuries. And with Bingxing's cultivation, even if she makes a mistake, it would not be a big deal. Now, Qin Yun is filled with apprehension as he extended his palms. Bingxing grabbed his palms and clasped her fingers tightly with his. Qin Yun has always felt that it is strange. Bingxing clearly mainly uses ice-cold power, but her hands are always warm. They feel very comfortable and soft to the touch, completely inconsistent with her ice-cold appearance. "Qin Yun, close your eyes and don't think about anything. I am cultivating with you here. It is completely different from the cultivation you experienced before." Bingxing's calm and ethereal voice sounded, "I am currently cultivating mine with you. You must cooperate with me." Qin Yun is very worried that he will fail because Bingxing has always been biased against him and even hates him a little. Cultivating the Sun and Moon Heart Sutra. However, it requires both parties to trust each other. Fortunately, he felt the warmth of Bingxing's hands and felt very at ease. Gradually, Qin Yun allowed himself to enter a state where he did not think about anything. Soon, he fell asleep. When he woke up, he discovered that he is in a space surrounded by all kinds of ice. This place is very spacious, much larger than the Immortal Weapon Palace Hall. Where is this?" Qin Yun said in surprise after opening his eyes. "This is my illusory space." Bingxing vigorously grabbed his hands and lightly shouted, "Calm down. We have successfully entered the joint cultivation state." "Really? That's great," Qin Yun said with a very happy smile. "Sister Bingxing, it seems like you still trust me in your heart. Don't be complacent. I only sincerely want to help you break through and let you save Yang Shiyu." Bingxing snorted and said, "Now, let me help you control that star power and strengthen your spirit's star crystal." Qin Yun does not know why, but Bingxing is actually able to successfully cultivate with him. He is very happy in his heart. At least Bingxing trusts him very much. This kind of mutual trust is extremely rare. Qin Yun also calmed down and did not ask any questions. He cooperated with Bingxing and let her circulate the star power. Ling Yun said, "Xiao Yun, you are in a dream within a dream. The Immortal Weapon Fantasy Field is an illusory dream realm. In this way, you can enter Bingxing's dream realm from the fantasy field. This is a very magical state that allows you to have a deeper contact with your own spirit. It sounds complicated. I don't understand either. In short, it's not a bad thing, right? Asked Qin Yun. Of course it isn't a bad thing. Ling Yun said with a charming smile. Xiao Yun, maybe Sister Bingxing has special feelings for you. That's why she trusts you so much. You can try and see if you can win her heart. Don't talk nonsense. It's because I obtained the trust of Yuel An and Sister Yang. Sister Bingxing also trusts me. I definitely don't have that kind of feeling. Qin Yun said. Let's wait and see. Ling Yun laughed. Qin Yun does not believe that Bingxing has feelings for him, because he feels very guilty towards Bingxing. After all, his previous life caused her to be sealed for so long. Although Qin Yun is in the immortal weapon fantasy field and has used a special method to enter the ice star's illusory space, he can absorb a large amount of star power. Those star Dao cores and origin spirit Xian pills are constantly pouring out a large amount of special mental power in a Qin Yun star crystal. Qin Yun, because I'm in the sun and moon immortal bed and you've entered my illusory space, it's equivalent to you being in the sun and moon space-time realm. This can buy you more time to cultivate. Bingxing said. Truly magical. Qin Yun exclaimed with a smile. At this moment, he can also sense that Bingxing can smoothly guide his mental power. What surprised him is that there is actually a third type of energy that is pouring into the star crystal. In addition to the energy of the star Dao cores and origin spirit Xian pills, there is also a special and powerful mental power. It is similar to star power, but it is much stronger than star power. Just as Qin Yun is feeling baffled, Ling Yun shouted in alarm. Xiao Yun, this Sister Bingxing is not human. Yin'er, what did you say? Although Sister Bingxing and I had enmity in our previous life, she is still very good to me now. Qin Yun said. What I mean is, she's not human. Ling Yun seemed to have suddenly discovered something. She became extremely excited. Don't tell me that you don't know the uniqueness of that third energy. It's very strange. It should be the power of the stars. Sister Bingxing should also be able to transform her mind into a star or a moon, right? It's not strange that her mental power has this characteristic. Qin Yun said. No. If it was the mind transforming into a star or a moon, it wouldn't be like this at all. Her mental power carried a very dense power of the stars. Do you know what this means? Ling Yun said. Also, the star nucleus you obtained before was immediately transformed by her. It can now release ice-cold power. Qin Yun thought for a moment and felt that it is somewhat strange. He hurriedly asked, what does this mean? This Sister Bingxing is a star spirit. Ling Yun shouted in pleasant surprise. She and I are about the same type. We could be considered the same type. Qin Yun is somewhat dumbfounded when he heard this. He asked, but Yin'er, you can't leave my illusory space, because I am the Dao spirit of the Nether Sun Martial spirit, and Sister Bingxing is the star spirit of a star. She should have cultivated a human's mind. Ling Yun said, the star that gave birth to her should be an ice star. Qin Yun carefully thought about it, and immediately felt astonished. Moreover, that ice star should not be simple. It's still in the sky. Ling Yun said, the reason why she looked down on the Devil Star Overlord so much before is also because she herself is a very strong star spirit. In that case, she should be very strong, right? Qin Yun asked. So, she should be very strong, but star spirits are very rare existences, especially this kind of powerful star spirit. They are the target of many experts. She said that her strength has weakened. In other words, her star has been destroyed or sealed. Ling Yun said. Qin Yun has a bad premonition. He felt that it might have been done by his previous life. Can I find her star in the spirit desolate? Qin Yun asked. What nonsense are you talking about? She came from the immortal desolate. Her star should be in the immortal desolate. Ling Yun said. Wait until you go to the immortal desolate. Then you can find out. Qin Yun can't help but feel curious as he looked at the beautiful immortal Bingxing. Bingxing is also looking at him. Her eyes are somewhat ice-cold. Sister Bingxing, are you a star spirit? Qin Yin suddenly asked. You? How did you know? Bingxing's body trembled. She's extremely shocked. Even your previous life didn't know about this. Qin Yin immediately felt a lot more at ease. At least his previous life did not harm Bingxing's star. I guessed it, Qin Yin said. Your star power is a bit similar to that Devil Star Overlord Star Core power, even though that guy is a Star Devil spirit. How much do you know about star spirits? Bingxing quickly asked. Well, I won't hide it from you. I have mastered quite a few star and moon inscription runes. It's mainly from a sect of mine called Inscription Gate. Qin Yin said, I also learned a few things about star spirits back then. Sister Bingxing, shouldn't you have a star in the sky? That star has disappeared. Otherwise, I would be even stronger now. Bingxing said. Why did it disappear? Qin Yin quickly asked. I don't know. In short, after that star was discovered, it was targeted by many people. Because the star is too big, I don't know where to hide it. Even if I hid it, it would be discovered. When I was sealed, I lost contact with it. However, I know that my star is still in the immortal desolate's Star River. When Bingxing spoke of this matter, her eyes are filled with sorrow. Was it hidden by someone? Qin Yin looked at Bingxing's sad expression and felt very sad in his heart. The person who can hide my star must be very strong. Moreover, he can also find me through that star and even control me. Therefore, I need the 9 revolutions immortal power. Only by becoming stronger can I break free from control and take back my star. Bingxing said indignantly. Qin Yin sighed softly and said, If only I had strong strength, I would be able to go to the immortal desolate and help you. You should cultivate properly. In the future, when you go to the immortal desolate, you will encounter even more trouble than me. Bingxing lightly snorted. In the following days, Bingxing helped Qin Yin very attentively and guided him to cultivate his mind. Very quickly, a year passed in Bingxing's illusory space. Bingxing frowned. You've encountered a bottleneck. I don't know the reason either. She released Qin Yin's hand and said, You should properly calm your heart and feel what's going on. Qin Yin closed his eyes and entered a state of slumber. He looked at the sparkling purple star. That is his spirit star crystal. It has become very big, but it is still not a moon. Xiao Yun, your situation is rather special. You might need someone with moon martial spirit to guide you into moon transformation. Ling Yuner said, My current mental power has also increased by a lot, but I still can't open the 3rd pearl of the 9 Sun Divine Spirit. Qin Yin is somewhat disappointed. He can only wait and see. He is still in Bingxing's illusory space. Unknowingly, he slept for a few days. These few days, he was immersed in his spirit star crystal. Bingxing is also looking at Qin Yin. In order to prevent any accidents from happening to him during cultivation, she looked at Qin Yin's handsome face and could not help but slowly extend her hand and gently caress it. Although it is an illusory space, the feeling is very real. Even Qin Yin can feel Bingxing's gentle lily-white hand caressing his face. Xiao Yun, she's in heat, he. Ling Yin suddenly laughed. Don't talk nonsense. Qin Yin doesn't think so. He quickly opened his eyes and saw Bingxing's lily-white hand placed on his face. Bingxing also hurriedly retracted her hand and turned around, her back facing Qin Yin. Sister Bingxing, what were you doing just now? Qin Yin can't guess what Bingxing is thinking. Chapter 676. The turning moon opportunity. Qin Yin did not think too much about it and said, I don't know what the problem is either. Maybe I need to gain enlightenment in other aspects before I can transform my mind into a moon. Maybe, if you find Yang Shuri, she might be able to help you. Bingxing said, Your mental cultivation has also reached a bottleneck. I can't help you with anything else. Let's end this joint cultivation. With that, Qin Yun's eyes flashed, and he returned to the side of the immortal pool in the fantasy field. Bingxing is not here. She has left the fantasy field. Qin Yun hurriedly left the fantasy field and woke up in his room. It's incredible. I entered a person's dream from the fantasy field. What a strange feeling. When Qin Yun reflected on it, he found it extremely fascinating. From the bottom of Bing Xing's heart, she still trusts you. Furthermore, her feelings for you are quite deep. Ling Yun laughed tenderly. Do you have any thoughts of taking her down? She's a real fairy. Stop talking nonsense. Qin Yun had only been lying down for a day. However, inside the immortal weapon fantasy field spirit, Bing Xing guided him into the Sun-Moon Immortal Bed's Sun-Moon space-time realm. Therefore, his consciousness had also spent a year there. If Sister Bing Xing and I were to lie on that Sun and Moon Immortal Bed, we would have 2 years of time. After Qin Yun got off the bed, he immediately took a bath and changed into a set of blue clothes before heading to the Immortal Weapon Palace Hall. He hastily arrived at the Immortal Weapon Palace Hall and saw Bing Xing sitting beside the immortal pool, absorbing immortal energy to cultivate. Qin Yun walked over and said with a smile, Sister Bing Xing, do you need 9 revolutions immortal power pills now? No need, I can cultivate with you. This should be faster. Bing Xing said, we will cultivate together on the Sun and Moon Immortal Bed. We won't use the Sun and Moon Immortal Bed to enter the Sun and Moon space-time realm. We can only absorb more immortal energy through the Immortal Bed. All right. Qin Yun immediately became excited. Then, he followed Bing Xing into the Immortal Pool and entered the Immortal Origin. They sat on the Sun-Moon Immortal Bed. I'll begin. Bing Xing stretched out her hand. Qin Yun had always wanted to cultivate together with Bing Xing and absorb the 9 revolutions immortal power to temper his body. Now he finally got his wish. Bing Xing circulated the Sun and Moon Heart Sutra and entered a joint cultivation state with Qin Yun. This is the first time Qin Yun absorbed energy from the immortal origin. He did not expect the absorption speed to be so fast. Sister Bing Xing guided the immortal energy over. The two of you cultivating together is indeed very fast. Ling Yun said, Xiao Yun, you have to seize this opportunity. Once she cultivates with you for a period of time, she will no longer resist you. At that time hey, you deadhead, Qin Yun cursed in a low voice. He did not know what was wrong with his Tao spirit. She was clearly a delicate little fairy, but she always had very dirty thoughts. After Qin Yun sensed a large amount of immortal energy enter his body, he used the 9 Sun Divine Spirit to quickly transform the immortal energy into 9 revolutions immortal power. Then, it flowed into Bing Xing's body and continuously circulated within their bodies. After every cycle, the 9 revolutions immortal power would strengthen and its quality would constantly increase. Especially after circulating in Bing Xing's body, it would always bring out a very strong immortal power to temper Qin Yun's body. When the two of them cultivated together in the real world, there was a feeling of being closely connected. They could feel each other's heartbeat, which was a very wonderful feeling. After Qin Yun and Bing Xing cultivated for a few days, they felt that they have improved a lot. If this goes on, you should be able to cultivate immortal body even faster. Bing Xing can also feel the benefits of the 9 revolutions immortal power to her. Therefore, this is something that both of them can benefit from. I'm going out to participate in the martial arts tournament, Qin Yun said with a very happy smile. Bing Xing brought Qin Yun out of the immortal origin and arrived above. Sister Bing Xing, I will definitely become stronger quickly and then go to the immortal desolate to help you find that star, Qin Yun said with a resolute expression. No need, just take care of yourself, Bing Xing said coldly. Qin Yun did not say anything else. He turned around and walked towards the door. Bing Xing looked at Qin Yun's back. Her eyes are filled with complex emotions. Then she sighed softly. After Qin Yun left the Immortal Weapon Palace Hall, he quickly arrived at a large hall in the Lawkeeper Hall. There are many disciples of the Lawkeeper Hall here. All of them are at the late-stage spirit martial realm. After he arrived, he saw Jian Ruyan, Yu Bufeng, and Long Xiaofeng. You all broke through? Qin Yun looked at Jian Ruyan and the other two in astonishment. You actually didn't break through. Jian Ruyan's face is also filled with shock. Don't you have Origin Spirit Xian pills and many star Dao cores? Granny Ma and Bao Changsho are also here. They sense that Qin Yun is still at the initial stage spirit martial realm and felt that it is somewhat strange. If one were to step into the middle stage spirit martial realm and cultivate an origin spirit, their aura would also have a faint trace of origin spirit energy. My mental power cultivation is rather special. Qin Yun sighed and said, "That's why I'm still the same. You all advise me not to transform my mind into moon, but it's also very difficult for me to break through now." Bao Changsho said, "Qin Yun, think about it again. Cripple your mental power cultivation and start from the beginning. With the help of the Grand Elder, you will definitely be able to cultivate mental power again." "I won't do it." Qin Yun has now reached a bottleneck. He only lacks an opportunity or guidance to successfully transform his mind into moon. "Qin Yun, are you really confident that you can resist the invasion of the Eveline power?" Jian Ruyan said worriedly. "Of course I'm confident," Qin Yun said with a smile. "Oh right, what's the situation with the martial arts tournament?" Granny Ma said, "The rules have been changed. They said that many disciples at the initial stage spirit martial realm have died, so they're allowing disciples at the mid and late stage spirit martial realm to participate." "Then wouldn't I be at a disadvantage?" Qin Yun said with a frown. "He is only at the initial stage spirit martial realm." "Qin Yun, don't worry. I will definitely defeat Brother Hu and take first place." Jian Rian patted Qin Yun's shoulder. "With your current situation, I'm afraid you won't be able to represent our immortal weapon city in the competition." Qin Yun looked at the group of disciples at the mid and late stage spirit martial realm and curled his lips. What kind of joke is this? Although I am at the initial stage spirit martial realm, I have at least killed an immortal disciple at the late stage spirit martial realm. How can I not be able to represent the immortal weapon city in the competition? But those immortal disciples aren't very strong. Back then, I was defeated by an immortal disciple because I wasn't on guard. Otherwise, I would have been able to defeat an immortal disciple. Jian Ruyan snorted lightly. Granny Ma said, "Qin Yun, you don't have to worry. As long as you pass our test, you can also participate in the competition." The disciples of the Lawkeeper Hall who are at the mid and late stage spirit martial realm all have arrogant expressions on their faces. They feel that even Jian Rian cannot compare to them. "There are only 4 spots," Granny Ma said. "The test method is very simple. It is a comprehensive test for all of you." Qin Yun is very confident in this test. The first test is the Dao Power Test. Test the strength of your Dao power. Granny Ma took out a pearl that looked soft. If you pinch this pearl hard, it will release a total of 4 kinds of light: blue light, silver light, golden light, and purple light. If you can emit golden light, you will be able to pass the first test. Granny Ma said, "There are a total of 50 disciples taking the test in this hall. They are all outstanding middle and late stage spirit martial realm, and they are also disciples of the Lawkeeper Hall." They lined up one after another to pinch the pearl. Qin Yun discovered that many middle stage spirit martial realm disciples can only make the pearl emit silver light, even if they use all their strength. Late-stage spirit martial realm disciples have to expend a great deal of effort to make the pearl emit golden light. More than 30 middle-stage spirit martial realm disciples have all been eliminated. Finally, it was Jian Rian's turn. After she held the pearl, she let out a light shout and released her strongest primordial Dao power into her fist. Then, she vigorously pinched the pearl. The pearl quickly turned into a silver light, and then slowly turned into a golden light. The brightness of the golden light is actually not weaker than late-stage spirit martial realm. Jian Ruyan has passed the first test, Granny Ma said with great satisfaction. Jian Ruyan's face is also filled with arrogance as she smiled at Qin Yun proudly. Those middle-stage spirit martial realm disciples who were eliminated all felt ashamed because Jian Ruyan just broke through and her Dao power is not weaker than theirs. Following them are Long Xiaofeng and Yu Bufeng. Although they just broke through, They can also make the pearl turn golden. However, the brightness is not as bright as Jian Ruian's. It's my turn. Qin Yun rolled up his sleeves and said with a chuckle, "It shouldn't be that difficult, right?" Qin Yun, be serious. This is very difficult. Just now, I almost broke my bones. Jian Ruian lightly snorted and said, "This isn't easy at all." Yu Bufeng's face is still somewhat pale. Just now, he used all the power in his body and instantly burst out to make the pearl emit golden light. Qin Yun curled his lips and said, "At the very least, I've killed an immortal disciple before, okay? I might be able to crush this pearl." Jian Ruian's face is filled with disbelief. You are only at the initial stage spirit martial realm. No matter how strong you are, you can't be that strong. The brightness of the golden light might only be the same as mine. If I can pinch this pearl until it turns purple, you can call me Brother Yin from now on, and you're not allowed to be mean to me. Qin Yun said with a smile. If you can really do it, then so be it. Jian Ruian does not think much of it. She does not believe that Qin Yun can pinch the pearl until it turns purple. Qin Yun took the pearl and let out a muffled groan. Then he released the power within the bone spirit and condensed the 9 extinction primordial power. His body immediately overflowed with a burst of aura, causing the main hall to emit whistling sounds. The bead immediately turned golden and then gradually turned purple, shining with purple light. Everyone's hair was blown into a mess as they looked at the purple pearl in astonishment. Qin Yun's Dao power is actually stronger than late-stage spirit martial realm. Those late-stage spirit martial realm disciples felt that they have cultivated to the point of being dogs. Qin Yun, enough. Granny Ma hurriedly shouted, "That pearl is very expensive. It's not easy to refine." Qin Yun also hurriedly stopped. Fortunately, it didn't break. Granny Ma hurriedly went over and checked the pearl. Qin Yun wiped his nose and looked at Jian Ruian with a smile. "Little sister Yin, how strong is your brother Yin?" You freak." Jian Ruian also suffered a heavy blow. She thought that after breaking through to the middle stage spirit martial realm, she would be able to hang Qin Yun and beat him up. Chapter 677. Dragon Ball. Jian Ruian glanced sideways at Qin Yun, gritted her teeth, and shouted, "Consider yourself powerful, but you're not as strong as Brother Hu. You must have broken through to the middle stage of the spirit martial realm. Jianan Hu is a bit difficult to deal with." Qin Yun said with an indifferent smile. "This guy, I defeated him twice and saved him once. He can't beat me. If Brother Hu defeats you, I won't have to call you Brother Yin anymore. What do you think?" Jian Ruian is older than Qin Yun. She felt very awkward calling a wimpy brat brother. Qin Yun chuckled and said, "Sure." Granny Ma said, "The second round of the test will test mental power. Later, the sect leader will release his mental power to attack you. If you can't take it, you will faint. The sect master's mental strength is very strong. It's not a problem for him to knock you out. Among you, the last 4 to fall will represent our immortal weapon city in the martial arts tournament." Qin Yun was very confident in his mental strength. When he heard the contents of the test, he felt relieved. Bao Changsho said, "It begins now." As soon as his voice fell, a mist enveloped Qin Yun and the other 20-plus people. Bang, bang, bang. In just a short while, a few people fell down. They were all at the late stage of the spirit martial realm. Qin Yun's mental power is extremely strong, but he never expected that his head would become muddled. He hurriedly used his star crystal to release a powerful mental power to resist. Following that, a few more people fell. Those who fell were all at the late stage of the spiritual martial realm. Jian Ruian can still stand. It can be seen that her spirit is also not bad. After Qin Yun released the power of the star crystal to resist, he felt Bao Changsho's mental power collide in his mind. Although it was very uncomfortable, it did not make him faint immediately. Not long after, Yu Bufeng also collapsed. Qin Yun felt that it was a pity because Yu was not bad. After a while, Long Xiaofeng could not hold on any longer and fainted on the ground. Now, there were only 7 people left. In the Lawkeeper Hall, there are also disciples with strong mental strength. If Qin Yun stepped into the mid-stage spirit martial realm and cultivated an origin spirit, his spiritual power would definitely be stronger. After a few people fell, there were only 4 left. Qin Yun, Long Xiaofeng, and 2 other youths. Bao Changshu also hurriedly retracted his mental power and said with a smile, "You guys are quite powerful. I thought I would be able to knock you guys out. I didn't expect you guys to still be standing." After the powerful spiritual force was withdrawn, the 2 youths of the Lawkeeper Hall also quickly fell to the ground. Jian Ruyan is also powerless. Just as she was about to fall, Qin Yun walked over and supported her. Maybe it's because when Qin Yun went over to support her, he didn't pay much attention and touched a certain soft spot on Jian Ruyan's body, causing the dizzy Jian Ruyan to immediately rejoice and come over. "You bastard!" Jian Ruyan pushed Qin Yun away and rubbed her forehead. Only Qin Yun seemed unaffected. It was obvious that the strength of his mental strength was far above the other disciples. "Qin Yun, you have not entered the middle stage of the spirit martial realm, but your mental power seems to have become much stronger," Bao Changshu said, in surprise. "It's just a little bit stronger." Qin Yun sighed. "If only I could break through, I would be able to improve in all aspects." After Bao Changshu woke up the disciples, he said, "Although you guys have failed, you can follow us to watch the battle and join in the fun." Yu Bufeng and Long Xiaofeng both felt that it is a bit regretful, because according to the ranking of the Immortal Weapon Fantasy Field's Martial Dao list, they had the chance to participate, but now they have failed. "All right, let's set off now," Bao Changshu said with a smile before walking out of the hall. When he arrived outside, he released his flying ship. After Qin Yun boarded the ship, he came to a large hall in the cabin and asked, "Secmaster, where are we going? Where is the martial arts tournament being held?" Granny Ma said, "I won't be going to the Sword Immortal Pavilion. I still have things to take care of here." After Jian Ruyan heard this, she immediately said happily, "Sword Immortal Pavilion? Great, I stayed there for a period of time when I was young. I can take you guys there to play." "Little sister Yin, you can clearly go to the Sword Immortal Pavilion, but you came to the Immortal Weapon City," Qin Yun said. "I like it, I'm willing. What's wrong?" Jian Ruyan is very unconvinced by Qin Yun, because from the beginning, she felt that Qin Yun was a weak chicken. But now, not only is he stronger than her, he is also stronger than the brother who that she admires. The Sword Immortal Pavilion is Jian Nanhu's home ground. Why would the martial arts tournament be held in the territory of the Sword Immortal Pavilion? Qin Yun asked in confusion. Jian Shitian is worried that the Divine Inscription Palace is scheming, so he strongly wants to hold it in his territory. Furthermore, our immortal sects also agreed. Jian Shitian's grandson almost died on the Devil Martial Island, so the Divine Inscription Palace made a concession on this matter. Otherwise, Jian Shitian would continue to pester this matter. Bao Changshu said, "Qin Yun, don't worry. In the Sword Immortal Pavilion, no one would dare to act recklessly." Jian Ruyan smiled proudly and said, "That is the second home of our Jian family disciples. Call me Brother Yun," Qin Yun said with a smile. "You little girl, why are you so forgetful? I'm not a disciple of your Jian family. Furthermore, I defeated Jian Nanhu. Those fellows from the Sword Immortal Pavilion probably all hate me. Yes, but even though we hate you, we won't act recklessly." Jian Ruyan doesn't want to address Qin Yun as Brother Yun at all. Long Xiaofeng suddenly said in a low voice, "How long will it take to go to the Sword Immortal Pavilion?" 1 or 2 days. I'll try my best to slow down." Bao Changshu chuckled and said, "I won't hide it from you guys. Not only is my flying ship beautiful and huge, it is also an extremely high-grade Dao tool. Only when we appear last can we properly show off." Long Xiaofeng looked at Qin Yun and asked in a low voice, "Qin Yun, although our Long family has enmity with you, I don't have any ill intentions towards you. Can you do me a favor? Help me. Help me make a talisman. I'll pay you purple coins." "All right, no problem." Qin Yun also knows that Long Xiaofeng deliberately said this because she has something to discuss with him. Brother Yun, be careful of her. The people from the Long family are all very sinister. Jian Ruyan promptly warned. With the sectmaster here, don't worry. Qin Yun smiled and followed Long Xiaofeng out of the hall. Bao Changshu is not worried that Long Xiaofeng will act recklessly because with Long Xiaofeng's strength, she won't be able to deal with Qin Yun. Qin Yun followed Long Xiaofeng into a room. Long Xiaofeng is wearing a beautiful red skirt. She has a charming face. Her beautiful red phoenix eyes are also looking at Qin Yun. Qin Yun, after I stepped into the spirit martial realm, something happened during my cultivation. Long Xiaofeng said in a low voice. I don't know what's going on either, so I didn't mention it to anyone else. Right now, Qin Yun is the person Long Xiaofeng trusts the most. Tell me about it. Qin Yun asked. Long Xiaofeng's martial spirit was carved with a dragon totem by him. When I step into the spirit martial realm, I also cultivated a dragon totem martial art. Then I cultivated this. Long Xiaofeng opened her sexy and beautiful mouth and spat out a fire pearl the size of a dragon nucleus. This is my Tao core. The primordial spirit I cultivated is also inside. When Ling Yun saw the pearl, she shouted in alarm. Xiao Yun, that's a dragon pearl. This woman actually cultivated such a small dragon pearl. She's very powerful. Qin Yun, I concealed my strength during the test just now because I didn't want to participate in the martial arts tournament. I was worried that I would expose some things. Long Xiaofeng said again. Xiaofeng, this is a dragon pearl. You are a descendant of a Long family. You must have heard about it. Qin Yun quickly said. Dragon. Dragon pearl? Long Xiaofeng is immediately shocked. That is something that can only be cultivated by half-immortals. After cultivating a dragon pearl, one can transform into a dragon, but I still have the phoenix martial spirit. Xiaofeng, do you think that the phoenix martial spirit has any effect on you? Qin Yun asked again. No effect. Long Xiaofeng shook her head. If it doesn't have any effect, then don't worry about it. Qin Yun looked at the dragon pearl and exclaimed, You cultivated this through the dragon totem martial art. It seems that the totem martial art you comprehended is really powerful. It was also because of your sister's guidance that I was able to successfully comprehend it. Long Xiaofeng smiled. Qin Yun, take this dragon pearl and see if you can establish a mental connection with me. I will teach you the dragon totem martial art I comprehended. Qin Yun promptly took the dragon pearl and placed it on his palm. At this time, Long Xiaofeng also held his hand. In the middle of their palms is the dragon pearl. It is overflowing with true multicolored light. Not long after, the dragon totem martial art also gradually appeared in Qin Yun's mind. It seems to have succeeded, Qin Yun said in pleasant surprise. And this should be our Long family's heavenly dragon art. However, our Long family's heavenly dragon art is incomplete and mine is complete. You can cultivate it according to the situation. Long Xiaofeng said with smile. I have also fulfilled my promise to you. And then we are even, Qin Yun said with smile. That won't do. I still have to help you investigate the Long family situation. Long Xiaofeng suddenly said in low voice. Qin Yun, your wife from Demon Moon Island has a very strong dragon martial spirit. I feel that it is much more powerful than my dragon martial spirit. Other than this, did you discover anything else? Qin Yun asked with a frown. Qin Yun, your wife's dragon martial spirit shouldn't be a black martial spirit. My guess is that it is an existence even stronger than a black martial spirit. Long Xiaofeng said, I have seen people with black dragon martial spirit before. I also recognize that kind of aura. Let's not talk about this anymore. Let's go out. Qin Yun said, Don't tell anyone else. Long Xiaofeng nodded. Soon after, Qin Yun and Long Xiaofeng arrived at the hall. When Yu Bufeng saw them come out, he said with smile, Qin Yun, why did you help her carve runes? She is a disciple of the Long family. Maybe she will harm you in the future. Because she is beautiful, much more beautiful than little sister Yin. Qin Yun said with smile. Qin Yun, you. Tell me which part of her is better than me. Jian Ruyan is about to explode as she shouted. Her chest is bigger than yours. Qin Yun said with a chuckle. Jian Ruyan stomped her feet in anger. Just as she was about to flip out, the large ship suddenly shook. Chapter 678. Chapter 678. Sky Island Sword City Bow. Changsho hurriedly walked out of the cabin and went outside. Qin Yun and company followed him out and saw a huge black ship emitting a lot of black gas. It is not far away. Both ships have protective shields, so the collision did not damage the hull. Seeing the evil aura coming from a ship, Bao Changsho's expression turned grave. That's a ship from the Desolate Devil sect. In the Devil Desolate, to be able to have such a powerful ship, it must be a very powerful devil sect. Did you do it on purpose? Bao Changsho shouted angrily at the ship. So what? Who told you to run in front of us? There is a yellow-haired old man on the ship. He sneered and shouted. Rotten old man, we hit you on purpose. Bao Changsho's expression turned gloomy, and he clenched his fists tightly. Jian Ruyan said in a low voice, Sect Master, attack and kill them. I am the Sect Master of the Immortal Weapon City, Bao Changsho. I will give you a chance. If you sincerely apologize, this matter will be over. Bao Changsho said, I am from Totem Pavilion. Who do you think you are? A nameless junior. The yellow-haired old man sneered. Although the Immortal Weapon City is famous, you are not famous at all. Bao Changsho is infuriated. He is the Sect Master of the Immortal Weapon City, but now he is being provoked by a devil sect. Then go to hell. Bao Changsho suddenly took out a flaming bell and threw it into the air. Wong. The bell shook and emitted a bell sound. Following the sound of the bell, a flame accompanied the sound wave and turned into a pillar of fire. It charged down from the sky and smashed into the black ship. Bao Changsho suddenly attacked. The other party did not expect it. After being hit by the ball of flame, the black ship broke apart from the middle. Boom, boom, boom. The ship immediately began to burn with fierce flames, and a series of explosions occurred. Beast oil, Qin Yun said in alarm. There's a lot of beast oil on that ship. The black flying ship is over 1,000 meters long, and it was broken by Bao Changsho in an instant. One must know that Bao Changsho released an immortal tool. The people inside the ship are enveloped in flames and unable to escape. The broken ship also fell to the ground. The large amount of beast oil it carried also burned the ground into a sea of fire. Many demons on the ship screamed in pain in the sea of fire. The yellow-haired old man who provoked Bao Changsho also fled in fear. He found it hard to believe that the Sect Master of the Immortal Weapon City actually dared to destroy their ship. The beast oil they are transporting should be sent to the Divine Inscription Palace, right? Bao Changsho looked at the remaining fragments in the air and said with a chuckle, This group of fellows from Totem Pavilion are so arrogant in the magical desolate that they have forgotten who they are after coming to the spirit desolate. The Totem Pavilion was also Qin Yun's old enemy. It was said that the Totem Pavilion was one of the strongest devil sects in the magical desolate land. Sect Master, why didn't you kill that yellow-haired old man? Jian Ruyan said. With your strength, you can definitely kill him. I want him to escape and then tell Totem Pavilion. Didn't he say that I'm not famous? I want to make a name for myself now. After Bao Changsho took over as the Sect Master, he was indeed very low-key. Only the older batch of people knew him. Now, if he wanted to establish the prestige of the Sect Master, he would have to display his toughness. Just now, the guy from Totem Pavilion dared to casually provoke him. If the old ancestor was provoked, he would do the same. Jian Ruyan giggled. No, no, no. If Jian Shirtian was provoked like this, he would probably kill his way to Totem Pavilion and make those fellows from Totem Pavilion apologize to him. I admit that my strength is inferior to Jian Shirtian's, so I can't do what he did. Bao Changsho said with a smile. Qin Yun said, Sect Master, the direction of that ship seems to be the same as ours. Could it be that they're also going to participate in the martial arts tournament? Jian Ruyan said with a frown. Even if the Sword Immortal Pavilion needs a large amount of beast oil, they would definitely not buy it from Totem Pavilion. Many of the great powers in the Spirit Desolate only secretly trade with the Devil sections. They don't dare to be so ostentatious with such a big business. It's also possible that they're going to cause trouble. Bao Changshu looked into the distance and said, I received news that there will be a few powerful devil sects joining in on the fun in this martial arts tournament. The martial arts tournament is being held in the Sword Immortal Pavilion. If those devil sects dare to cause trouble, aren't they courting death? Jian Rian understood the Sword Immortal Pavilion very well and felt that it was impossible. It was invited by the Divine Inscription Palace. Because the Divine Inscription Palace promised Jian Shirtian that the martial arts tournament would be held in the Sword Immortal Pavilion, Jian Shirtian also needed to agree to some conditions of the Divine Inscription Palace. Bao Changshu said, Therefore, it is extremely likely that those devil sects were invited by the Divine Inscription Palace. Isn't it just a martial arts tournament? Why does the Divine Inscription Palace value it so much? Qin Yin found it somewhat difficult to understand. Bao Changshu shook his head and said, The martial arts tournament is not that simple. The Divine Inscription Palace is only in charge of organizing it, but behind the scenes, it is indeed the Nine Suns sect that caused it. Nine Suns sect? Qin Yin has not heard anyone mention it for a long time. Back in the Martial Desolate, many people from the Nine Suns sect appeared. Later on, they also went to the Spirit Desolate, but their whereabouts are unknown. In the Spirit Desolate, the region we are in is called the Ordinary Realm. There are also the Xian Domain and the Ancient Domain. The Nine Suns sect is in the center of the Xian Domain and controls the Xian Domain. They are also the most powerful existence in the Divine Inscription Palace. Many years ago, they were also active in the Ordinary Realm. Later on, they established the Divine Inscription Palace, and then they retreated to the Xian Domain. Bao Changshu said, Previously, Wu Mingxiu came to find Qin Yun and said that he wanted to explore the Xian Domain of the Spirit Desolate. After that, there has been no news of him. In that case, aren't those Nine Suns sects very strong? If they come here, will they take down those immortal sects? Qin Yun asked somewhat worriedly. Although they are strong, if they want to take down the immortal sects of the Ordinary Realm, they will have to bleed a lot. The reason why they are not active in the Ordinary Realm is because the various immortal sects have grown up and are not under their control. However, our immortal sects have always been in contact with them. Bao Changshu said, The reason why the various immortal sects can grow up is also because of those Nine Suns sects. Qin Yin also heard before that many of the great powers and clans in the Spirit Desolate are inextricably linked to the Nine Suns sects. However, what is the importance of the martial arts tournament? If you win first place, you will be able to obtain the divine ability. This divine ability is given by the Divine Inscription Palace. That's all. Qin Yin said, Why does the Divine Inscription Palace care so much about it? Qin Yin, if we win first place in the martial arts tournament, we will be able to obtain the right to speak in the Divine Inscription Palace. For many years, the majority of the first place in the martial arts tournament has been obtained by the factions within the Divine Inscription Palace, and then by the Sword Immortal Pavilion. The Divine Inscription Palace is formed by many powerful forces, and then a general manager is chosen to manage it. Now, the power of those general managers is growing. They want to put aside other forces and control the entire Divine Inscription Palace. However, they are worried that they will be wiped out, so they propose this martial arts tournament. As long as the disciples sent out can obtain first place, they will be able to have the right to manage the Divine Inscription Palace. Bao Changshu slowly narrated the secret disputes. Qin Yin never expected that the waters of the martial arts tournament would be so deep. However, he felt that it might not be just that. As for the specifics, I'm not sure either, because our Immortal Weapon City has never won before. So it's up to you guys. Bao Changshu shook his head and smiled. Sect Master, don't worry. We will definitely help the Immortal Weapon City get first place, Jian Rian said with great confidence. Little Sister Yin, Didn't you say that I'm inferior to Jian Nanhu? Qin Yun said with a smile. Jian Ruyan snorted and entered the cabin. The ship flew for 2 days. Qin Yun and company finally arrived at the Sword Immortal Pavilion. The Sword Immortal Pavilion is a huge floating island. It is more than 10,000 meters above the ground. From afar, it is quite shocking. On the way here, Jian Ruyan also said that the floating island is very mysterious. It has existed since the ancient times, and there are some mysterious stones inside the island, so it can float. On that island, there is a huge city that is not inferior to the Immortal Weapon City. It is called Sword City. In the center of the Sword City, there is a huge villa. The Sword Immortal Pavilion is located in that villa. The flying ship can only stop at the side of the flying island. It can't fly in because the entire island is protected by a very strong barrier. After they disembarked, they sat on the small flying boat sent by the Sword Immortal Pavilion and flew towards the Sword Immortal Pavilion in the center of the city. There are more than 20 people on the small flying boat. It is somewhat crowded, and its speed is also slightly slow. The Sword Immortal Pavilion is really stingy, Qin Yun said in a low voice. They sent such a small thing to pick us up. Qin Yun is not the only one who thinks this way. Even Jian Ruyan feels the same way. Although the others have such thoughts, they don't dare to say anything because Jian Ruyan is here. After the middle-aged man from the Sword Immortal Pavilion who is controlling the consumer boat heard this, he quickly explained, "Originally, we also had many large VIP boats, but they were all borrowed by the Divine Inscription Palace. They originally agreed to return them to us in 2 days, but they did not return them." Divine Inscription Palace? Bao Changsho slightly frowned and asked, "Why did you lend them to them?" "I don't know." The middle-aged man shook his head. "Those fellows from the Divine Inscription Palace are so bad. Why would we lend them to them?" Jian Ruyan said in a very bad mood. The Sword Immortal Pavilion and the Divine Inscription Palace must have made some kind of exchange. Bao Changsho said with a smile, "Not all of the Divine Inscription Palace are dead scoundrels. There are also a few good ones." "What's the use of a few good ones? Those in power are all scoundrels." Jian Ruyan was almost humiliated by an immortal disciple of the Divine Inscription Palace, so she doesn't have any good impression of the Divine Inscription Palace. When Qin Yun was in the Martial Desolate, he knew that the majority of the upper echelons of the Divine Inscription Palace are scoundrels. Only a small portion of them are good. The VIP boat is back. The middle-aged man suddenly looked at the sky and shouted in pleasant surprise. The VIP boat is indeed very big. They are all dozens of meters long and over 100 meters long. And the small flying boat that Qin Yun and company are on is only 10 meters long. The VIP boat is flying in the air and its speed is relatively fast. In an instant, it surpassed them. Not long after, Bao Changsho also brought Qin Yun and company out of the Sword Immortal Villa. Devil Warriors. The VIP boat is actually going to pick up the Devil Warriors. Chapter 679. Immortal disciples contend for hegemony. Qin Yun previously thought that the martial arts tournament was only a martial arts competition, but now it seems that it is not that simple. Just as Bao Changsho had guessed, it was the Divine Inscription Palace who invited the Devil Sect disciples. The reason why the Divine Inscription Palace borrowed so many VIP ships is to bring the Devil Sect disciples to participate in a martial arts tournament. The forces in the Devil Desolate have low refining standards and do not have that many good flying magic tools. Although the Divine Inscription Palace has them, they are scattered everywhere, so they borrowed them from the Sword Immortal Pavilion. It seems like the various great devil sects of the Devil Desolate have a very good relationship with the Divine Inscription Palace. The ship that I destroyed earlier should have been refined by the Divine Inscription Palace for the Totem Pavilion. Bao Changsho sneered. "Sect Master, there are so many disciples of the Devil Sect. Are they here to participate in the martial arts tournament or to watch?" Qin Yun asked in a low voice. "Some of them should be here to participate in the martial arts tournament. Don't worry, in a place like the Sword Immortal Pavilion, they shouldn't dare to play tricks." Bao Changsho said, Let's go and meet them. Bao Changshu brought his disciples and walked over. At this moment, he also saw Jian Shitian quickly walking over. In addition, there is also a group of people from the Divine Inscription Palace and an old man with dark purple hair. Qinyan also saw Jian Nanhu. He is secretly shocked in his heart because Jian Nanhu gives him an even stronger feeling. Xiao Yun, Jian Nanhu suddenly has an immortal body. How did this guy cultivate it? Ling Yun said in shock. Jian Nanhu is wearing a set of white clothes. Although he is standing respectfully behind Jian Shitian, his eyes are filled with arrogance. Especially when he saw Qin Yun, his eyes are filled with strong battle intent. Are you Immortal Weapon City's Bao Changshu? The purple-haired old man walked over with a face full of anger and said in a deep voice, "Who are you?" Bao Changshu also roughly guessed the other party's identity. "I am Totem Pavilion Sect Master, Tu Tian and D." The purple-haired old man's eyes revealed killing intent. "It was you who destroyed our ship, right? That ship hit me first, and it was on purpose. I gave them a chance to admit their mistake, but they didn't, so I casually destroyed that ship." Bao Changshu smiled faintly and said, "It's a pity that you weren't there at that time. Otherwise, I would have been able to carry out justice on behalf of the heavens and eliminate you, demon. Old Shorty, I'm going to kill you." Tu Tianyi flew into a rage and took out a black heavy sword. "In my sword Immortal Pavilion's territory, please give me some face." Jian Shitian released his sword intent, causing Tu Tianyi's expression to slightly change. Tu Tianyi kept his weapon and said to the half-immortal from the Divine Inscription Palace, "General Manager Yi, this Bao Changshu also killed your people before, right? Looks like we have a common enemy." "That's right, Immortal Weapon City is our common enemy. One day, we will definitely flatten them." General Manager Yi looked at Bao Changshu and sneered. Knowing that Bao Changshu has arrived, the half-immortals of other sects and clans also came to watch the show. They also heard that Bao Changshu destroyed a huge ship carrying beast oil from Totem Pavilion, and Totem Pavilion Sect Master, Tu Tianyi, is a devil that is not to be trifled with. Qin Yun also saw Xiao Yuan. She is wearing a white dress, and her face is covered with a black veil, covering her beautiful face. Beside her is Hu Jingxian, the charming and seductive fox spirit. In the plaza of the Sword Immortal Villa, all the big shots of the major powers of the Proud Star State have gathered. General Manager Yi pointed at Qin Yun and said, "Old Tu, this kid is Qin Yun. Is this Qin Yun? He caused a reign of terror in the Martial Desolate. His Dao tool was obtained from killing the disciples of the Nine Suns sects. He is a bandit. Furthermore, this guy has the Heavenly Lion Totem inheritance. In the Martial Desolate, he offended 8 of the Nine Suns sects." Tu Tianyi knows Qin Yun very well. Many of the big shots here previously understood some things about Qin Yun, but they were unable to confirm if it was true or not. Now that Tu Tianyi said this, it is still shocking, especially those young disciples. They never expected Qin Yun to come from the Martial Desolate. Furthermore, he had caused such a huge commotion. Jian Nanhu clenched his fists tightly. Only now did he know that Qin Yun has mastered the Heavenly Lion Totem. However, he did not sense the power of the Heavenly Lion Totem. Therefore, he believed that Qin Yun had concealed a lot of his strength. Tu Tianyi said with a sneer, "Qin Yun, I heard that you have the Black Vibration Martial Spirit and the Purple Gold Thunder Flame Martial Spirit. However, after testing, you only have one Martial Spirit. Are you crippled? You have caused great losses to our Totem Pavilion in the Martial Desolate. We will not let you off. It was you who came to cause trouble for me, because you wanted to snatch my Heavenly Lion Totem. It is normal for me to take revenge on you," Qin Yun said coldly. He hated Totem Pavilion very much. "Qin Yun, I won't kill you, but you better be careful. Others might not know about your relationship with Yang Shiryu, but I know very well," Tu Tianyi said with a sinister smile. Qin Yun suspected that his good relationship with Yang Shiryu was most likely spread out from the Nethermoon Palace. Bao Changshu is slightly angry and said, "Tu Tianyi, you are the leader of an evil devil sect. How dare you be so arrogant in the spirit desolate? You should be the one to be careful. Bao Changsho, I am not afraid of you. If you want to enforce justice on behalf of the heavens, come at me. Tu Tianyi laughed loudly. Old Tu, ignore them. Let's have a few good drinks. General Manager Yi said before leaving with Tu Tianyi. After Jian Shitian saw them leave, he looked at the disciples behind Bao Changsho and said with a frown, Old Bao, you didn't bring any immortal disciples? I didn't bring any. Why? Bao Changsho said. Then your immortal weapon city might be out of luck. Jian Shitian smiled. As long as a disciple can enter the top 2 in the martial arts tournament, then the power behind this disciple will have a position in the proud Star State's divine inscription palace. This position is very important. It can decide many things and also obtain great benefits. Bao Changsho said with a smile, For so many years, our immortal weapon city has not relied on the divine inscription palace. Haven't we lived well? Jian Shitian shook his head and said, This time is different, because this time we are fighting for the position of the 2 overlords of the proud Star State. Once we obtain that position, we will have the opportunity to obtain an immortal origin. It seemed like Bao Changsho was the only one who did not know about it. The leaders of the other sects had already heard about it. However, there were many disciples who did not know about this, and when they heard about it, they let out cries of surprise. If an immortal sect has 2 immortal origins, then the immortal chi will be even denser and all aspects will be improved. 2 immortal origins are provided by Xian Domain. Jian Shitian patted Bao Changsho's shoulder. You guys take care of yourselves. The reason why they let the younger generation compete is because those half-immortals don't want to fight. Because if half-immortals die in a fight, it will shake the foundation of a faction. Jian Nanhu said to Qin Yun, I have cultivated an immortal body. Don't worry about how I cultivated it. In short, you are definitely not my match right now. Ha 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 ha. Jian Nanhu, who is in the middle stage of the spirit martial realm, has also cultivated an immortal body. This caused many people to be shocked. As for Qin Yun, he was only at the early stage of the spirit martial realm. Jian Nanhu, I wish you good luck in obtaining first place in the martial arts tournament. Qin Yun said with a calm smile. Qin Yun, you are still at the initial stage of the spirit martial realm, yet you are still so calm. Don't tell me you are planning to give up. It's fine. If I were you, I would also give up. Jian Nanhu laughed loudly and left with Jian Shitian. Jian Rian lightly snorted and said, Brother who cultivated an immortal body, he is too arrogant and underestimated his opponent. Qin Yun smiled faintly. Therefore, he will definitely lose to me. I will teach him how to be a person again. You are also very arrogant. Jian Ruyan rolled her eyes at him. Bao Changsho said, Let nature take its course. I can't bear to take out our immortal weapon city's immortal disciples. Jian Ruyan, you Bufeng and the other disciples are all extremely astonished. They always thought that the immortal weapon city didn't have any immortal disciples. Lu Jingming is an immortal disciple, and her strength is unfathomable. However, because of her personality, she is not the fighting type. Therefore, Bao Changsho will definitely not take her out. Bao Changsho and the others were arranged to stay in a large courtyard. It is already evening, and everyone returned to their rooms to rest. Tomorrow, the martial arts tournament will begin. In the morning, before the sky brightened, Bao Changsho called Qin Yun, Jian Ruyan, and 2 other disciples to a hall. Last night, I went to inquire. Other than us, the 5 great immortals have all sent out immortal disciples. The Divine Inscription Palace has also sent out 2, and the Sword Immortal Pavilion has sent out the most immortal disciples, a total of 4. Bao Changsho said, Today and tomorrow, there will be a selection. 16 people will be selected for the final martial arts competition. Qin Yun said, In that case, there are as many as 8 immortal disciples. Not only that, the Medicine Immortal Valley, the Azure Flame Immortal Mountain, and the Demon Immortal Paradise each sent 2. The Sword Immortal Pavilion has 4. Adding the 2 from the Sword Immortal Pavilion, there are a total of 12. With the strength of the 12 immortal disciples, they will definitely be able to obtain a spot. The 5 great clans, 5 great star sects, and the 3 moons sect, as well as other miscellaneous sects and clans, along with a few great devil sects, are fighting for 4 spots. The competition is very fierce. Bao Changsho is actually very calm. He said with a smile, "It doesn't matter if you can get first place or not, as long as you don't get injured." Jian Rian said, "Since we're here, we have to fight for a spot." Qin Yun said with a smile, "Let's see our luck. If our luck is good, maybe we can easily obtain a spot." The other 2 youths did not say anything. Although their strength is not bad, they feel that they have no chance of winning against those terrifying immortal disciples. Qin Yun killed an immortal disciple of the Divine Inscription Palace, so he is the most confident. "All right, then let's set off to participate in the preliminaries," Bao Changsho said. Bao Changsho brought a group of disciples to a huge plaza in the southeast region of the Sword Immortal Villa. Today, the preliminaries will be held here. At the side of the plaza, there are many huge swords that are over 100 meters tall. They are flickering with cold light, and the sword energy is threatening. It seems like a very strong sword formation, causing the entire plaza to be filled with solemnity and killing intent. In the plaza, Qin Yun sensed the auras of more than 10 powerful immortal disciples. Chapter 680. Body of Evil. After Bao Changsho and company arrived at this huge plaza, Jian Nanhu also walked over. "Brother Hu, what are the specifics of today's preliminaries?" Jian Rian asked. "There will be a total of 16 groups. The 16 groups will battle against each other, and the one who wins will enter the final competition." Jian Nanhu looked at Qin Yun and said, "Qin Yun, you don't have an immortal body or something like that. I reckon you won't be able to enter the final competition. Why are you so sure that I will lose? I defeated an immortal disciple before." Qin Yun asked. Jian Nanhu looked at the group of people with dense evil aura in the distance and said, "Do you see that? They are all from Devil Desolate. The 5 great devil sects of the Devil Desolate have sent out a total of 15 disciples. Among these disciples, 10 of them have devil body and 5 of them have evil body. In our Spirit Desolate's 5 great immortals and the Divine Inscription Palace also have more than 10 disciples with immortal bodies." After Bao Changsho heard this, he was slightly surprised and said, "The 5 demon sects actually sent so many powerful disciples." Jian Rian nodded and said, "The devil sects of the Devil Desolate also want to obtain an immortal origin. The Divine Inscription Palace had reached an agreement with them, so they set the cultivation of the participating disciples at the late stage of the Spirit Martial Realm. Of course, although I am only at the middle stage of the Spirit Martial Realm, I don't feel any pressure." He looked at Qin Yun and said, "Qin Yun, what's wrong with you?" As long as the disciples who returned from the Devil Martial Island were still alive, most of them would have stepped into the middle stage of the Spirit Martial Realm through those Star Dao cores. But you're still at the initial stage. My mental power cultivation is rather special. So, there's a problem. Qin Yun is also very helpless because he doesn't know what the specific problem is. Jian Nanhu also recalled Qin Yun's mental power cultivation method. It is an extremely dangerous mental star transformation cultivation method. Prepare to split into groups. Our participating disciples, let's go. Jian Nanhu is somewhat excited because this martial arts tournament is his opportunity to hold his head high. He was defeated by Qin Yun twice before, and now he finally has the strength to defeat Qin Yun. Qin Yun and company followed Jian Nanhu to the front of the plaza. There are many disciples gathered there. The disciples that came to participate, even if they were immortal disciples, felt a lot of pressure. There were more than 10 immortal disciples, and there were also 15 devil warriors with devil body and evil body. It wouldn't be easy for them to get a spot in the competition. Even the immortal disciples were worried, much less the other disciples. Even Jian Rian feels an enormous pressure. She could also tell that this time, the Immortal Weapon City did not have any immortal disciples to participate in the competition. If they could not even get a spot in the competition, it would be extremely embarrassing. What's with the grouping? Aren't we supposed to go up and draw lots? Qin said with a frown. The Divine Inscription Palace is in charge of grouping them. Jian Nanhu patted Qin shoulder. He said with smile, Qin, I am very worried that you won't be able to enter the final competition. At that time, I won't be able to compete with you. Damn Divine Inscription Palace, they will definitely target me. Qin cursed in a low voice. General Manager Yi of the Divine Inscription Palace had people paste a piece of paper on each of the 16 battling platforms. Qin quickly looked at his group. He was in the 15th group. When he saw his opponent, he cursed in his heart because the immortal, fiend, and evil disciples were all gathered here. Jian Nanhu is in the first group. There are also immortal and devil disciples, but none of them are from the Divine Inscription Palace. Among the 16 groups, the one with the best luck is the Divine Inscription Palace. Their two immortal disciples groups don't have any immortal or devil disciples. Obviously, they deliberately arranged it. Jian Nanhu walked over to Qin and said with a smile, Qin, your group should be called the Group of Death. There are 3 devil disciples, 2 immortal disciples, and 2 evil disciples. The immortal disciples are from the Azure Flame, Immortal Mountain, and the Medicine Immortal Valley. Qin is only dissatisfied with the Divine Inscription Palace, but he doesn't think much of his opponents. What's the situation with little sister Yin? Qin asked. Her situation is not too optimistic either. There are both devil and immortal disciples. Although there's only one each, the pressure on her is still quite great. Jian Nanhu sighed. Soon after, Qin looked at each battle platform one by one. He discovered that Xiao Yuelan's 10th group has both immortal, devil, and evil disciples. The situation is also quite bad. Qin is not worried about Xiao Yuelan at all. He only feels that those devil and immortal disciples are a bit unlucky. 16 groups, there are not only 16 people in each group, there are also 20 or 22 people. Next is the cultivation test. If one exceeds the late-stage spirit martial realm, they won't be able to participate. After Qin passed the test, he was determined to be at the initial stage spirit martial realm. This made many disciples heave a sigh of relief, especially those immortal disciples. Although Qin defeated an immortal disciple before, they all felt that Qin used some tricks. If it was a fair and square competition, he would definitely not be able to win against an immortal disciple. After the test, it is time to begin the competition for each group. Qin deliberately stood in a certain position and looked at the list of names on the battle platform. Xiao Yuelan also arrived near him and secretly transmitted her voice to him. Xiao Yun, when dealing with devil and evil cultivators, using overwhelming righteous power will yield twice the result with half the effort. However, it is best to use it secretly, otherwise it will provoke those devil sect masters. Xiao Yuelan transmitted her voice. Yuelan, did the Nethermoon Palace leak some information about me and Big Sister Yang? Qin asked. Yes. Xiao Yun, you don't have to worry too much about Big Sister Yang. With her ability, she can protect herself. Xiao Yuelan said. Prepare for the martial arts competition. You must be careful. And you be careful too. After a short conversation with Xiao Yuelan, Qin also arrived at the 15th group's battle platform. He is the second to go on stage. And the first match is between a Long family disciple and a devil sect disciple. Yuner, is there any difference between evil body and devil body? Qin is rather puzzled about this. The strength of the devil body is mainly reflected in the body, and the evil body is reflected in the mind and heart. Ling Yuner said, in other words, people with evil body will be even more evil. The power they use can affect your mind. It is equivalent to mental power attack. Qin has the overwhelming righteous martial spirit, so he is not afraid of those evil spirits. He is very calm. The martial arts competition on the various battle platforms has officially begun. Qin did not look at the 15th group. Instead, He looked at the 13th group. Jian Ruyan is fighting with a man. That man is truly a devil sect disciple with devil body. I wonder if this girl can defeat that guy. Qin Yun is still rather worried about Jian Ruyan. Jian Ruyan is only at the middle stage of the spirit martial realm, and the opponent has devil body and is at the late stage of the spirit martial realm. The disparity is too great. Xiao Yun, this girl Ruyan has dual sword martial spirits, especially after stepping into the middle stage of the spirit martial realm. Her mental sword is even stronger. Ling Yuner said, "One must know that everyone feels that among the disciples of the immortal weapon city, only Jian Ruyan can hold her own. The devil sect disciple who is fighting with Jian Ruyan has a very tall and sturdy body. He is 2 meters tall, and the muscles on his body are light black and very sturdy. Jian Ruyan's origin sword chopped down on the skin and flesh of the devil sect disciple. It actually issued a crisp dang 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 sound. It can be seen how strong the skin and flesh of the devil sect disciple is. Little sister Yan's speed is quite fast, and she is quite good at using dual swords. Although the defense of that devil sect disciple is very strong, he also has weak points. His eyes and mouth are relatively weak areas." Jian Nanhu came to Qin Yun's side and said, "She stabbed the devil sect disciple's head a few times just now, but she was unable to pierce through. Furthermore, that devil sect disciple is very focused on defending his head." Qin Yun said with a frown, "She should be using mental attack." Although Jian Ruyan is facing a strong enemy, she is extremely calm. Her footsteps are also not chaotic, and she very calmly dodged the opponent's attack. During the martial arts competition, one cannot use weapons, but sword cultivators can use their own origin sword. Jian Ruyan's idea of attacking is also to stab the opponent's weakness, but it was firmly defended. This caused her to only be able to stab the devil sect disciple's head after several attacks. Devil cultivators with devil body have extremely tough skin, flesh, and bones. Jian Ruyan's 2 swords are comparable to high-grade or even royal-grade Xian tools, but they are unable to make the opponent bleed. Little girl, just admit defeat. You are a disciple of the Jian family. I don't want to injure you." The devil sect disciple laughed sinisterly. If it wasn't for the fact that they are competing in the Sword Immortal Pavilion's territory, he would have already said many unpleasant words. The one who admits defeat is you. Jian Ruyan dodged the devil sect disciple's attack and retreated to the edge of the battle platform. She arrogantly shouted. She controlled a mental sword that turned into a white light and stabbed at the devil sect disciple. The devil sect disciple promptly waved his hand to attack. With his powerful devil body, he is not afraid of Jian Ruyan's sword at all. However, after the mental sword shot over, it suddenly exploded and turned into a burst of white light, releasing an extremely strong mental power attack. This kind of mental power attack is not something a strong body can withstand. The devil sect disciple immediately felt a wave of dizziness. It was also in that short moment that Jian Ruyan quickly walked over and stabbed at the devil sect disciple's eyes. She stabbed twice in a row, causing the devil sect disciple to be blinded. His head also suffered a great injury, and he had no choice but to admit defeat. This caused everyone to cry out in alarm. They all praised Jian Ruyan's strength. Qin Yun also felt pain in his eyes. He said, "Were Jian Meng's eyes also stabbed blind?" "Yes. When he was young, he was blinded by a little demon from our Jian family. Although he could be cured, he was not willing to be cured." Jian Nanhu said, "This is very similar to a good friend of mine. After losing an arm, it could be reattached, but he refused. He is not a disciple of your Jian family, but he is also a sword cultivator." Qin Yun thought of Xiao Wufeng. "If I have the chance, I want to meet such a person." Jian Nanhu suddenly became very interested. At this moment, the first match of Group 15 also ended. The Long family disciple lost to the Devil Sect disciple. Second match, Qin Yun and Leng Huan come on stage. An old man shouted loudly. Jian Nanhu said, "This Leng Huan is from one of the 5 great devil sects, the bloodthirsty sect. He likes to suck blood very much. It is said that he can suck a person's blood dry in a single breath. This kind of devil, I will let him reincarnate into a human. Qin Yun said, if we kill these devil sect disciples, what will the consequences be? What are you afraid of? You have already been targeted by Totem Pavilion, so what if you're targeted by the bloodthirsty sect? Chapter 681. The bane of evil. In this martial arts tournament, Qin Yun's cultivation level was the lowest, but he still received a lot of attention because he killed an immortal disciple of the Divine Inscription Palace before. Just based on this point, it proves that he still has strength. Even if he couldn't beat the demon sect's demon body demon disciple, he wouldn't be too far off. After Qin Yun walked up the stage, Jiannanhu also stood below and watched seriously. He did not want to miss Qin Yun's match. He wanted to see Qin Yun's current strength. One must know that ever since Jiannanhu lost to Qin Yun, he became very hardworking. Now, his strength had increased a lot, but it was unknown if Qin Yun's strength had increased as well. After Qin Yun walked up the stage, Leng Huan from the Bloodthirsty sect also walked up the stage. Although Leng Huan was a devil disciple of the devil sect and possessed a devil body, his body was not strong. Instead, he was much smaller than Qin Yun. However, the demonic aura around Leng Huan's body was extremely dense. Her eyes were emitting a purplish-red radiance, and her teeth were extremely sharp. Also, Leng Huan's nails were long and sharp, as if they could easily tear through a person's skin and flesh. This guy is a vampire. It was said that those who were defeated by him, they will all be sucked dry. I wonder if Qin Yun can resist this guy. I've heard of Leng Huan from the Bloodthirsty sect. His speed is really fast. Qin Yun's strength is also not weak. Previously, he defeated Jiannanhu and the Divine Inscription Palace's immortal disciple. He definitely won't be defeated that easily. Not necessarily. Qin Yun is only at the early stage spirit martial realm, and Leng Huan is at the late stage spirit martial realm. There's a difference of 2 realms. Everyone began to discuss fervently. Half of the people felt that Qin Yun would lose to Leng Huan. Leng Huan looked at Qin Yun and licked her lips with her long tongue. She laughed sinisterly and said, Qin Yun, right? You are indeed a famous person. I can smell your blood. It is very wonderful. Your blood is so powerful that it makes me excited. I must taste it properly. You villain, how many people's blood have you sucked? When Qin Yun saw Leng Huan's sinister look, he felt nauseous. He wished he could immediately kill this fellow. I don't really remember. Anyway, it's at least 8,000, if not 10,000. Leng Huan cackled. I can guarantee that your blood will be the best blood I've ever tasted. Qin Yun rubbed his fist and sneered. My blood is not bad, but you bastard, aren't you looking down on me too much? You're only at the early stage of the spirit martial realm. I don't believe that you can defeat me, especially in this kind of martial arts competition. You simply can't use any tricks. Leng Huan laughed. Cultivation is proof of strength. If you are really powerful, then you should be able to break through your own cultivation. Because you can't break through, you can only improve your strength in other aspects. This also means that you don't have enough talent and hard work to break through. So, in front of me, you are just a weakling. If you think so, that's for the best. Qin Yun smiled. Leng Huan looked at the middle-aged referee and said, We are ready. You can announce the start of the match. He seemed to be in a hurry to suck Qin Yun's blood. Qin Yun nodded at the middle-aged referee. Begin, the middle-aged referee shouted. At this moment, many people in the plaza quickly shifted their gazes over. Long Xiaofeng, Yu Bufeng, Jian Ruyan, and the others also arrived at the side of stage 15. Xiao Yuelon did not come over because she is very clear about Qin Yun's strength. She even felt that if she did not meet Qin Yun in the previous matches, it is extremely likely that the two of them would have to fight to the end. Bao Changshu and Jian Shitian are also watching from not far away. They also want to see Qin Yun's specific strength. Leng Huan's speed is indeed very fast. His small and skinny body made him even more nimble. After he rushed out, he transformed into a shadow and in half a blink of an eye, he arrived in front of Qin Yun. The sharp claws on his hands stabbed towards Qin Yun's heart and abdomen. Leng Huan's usual method is to rush over and tear open a person's heart and abdomen. Then he bites the opponent's neck and quickly sucks blood. Leng Huan's attack is smooth and swift. It is very coherent. Only people with good eyesight can catch his movements. Just as his claws are about to touch Qin Yun's clothes, Qin Yun suddenly flashed and disappeared. Leng Huan pounced on empty air and cannot help but be startled. Walala! Suddenly, a vibrating thunder and fire aura surged out. It is extremely dense and pervaded the battle stage. When everyone saw this scene, they also felt that it is very strange. Qin Yun disappeared. Leng Huan stood on the spot and looked around. The battle stage has a barrier. It is not that easy for the people inside to leave. Where did Qin Yun go? Did he become invisible and become transparent? That requires a transparent martial spirit. I heard that the Divine Inscription Palace has an immortal disciple who has this kind of martial spirit. It's not a transparent martial spirit. Did you guys see that? Leng Huan released some black gas. If Qin Yun was on the battle stage, the black gas would also be able to discover Qin Yun, who has become transparent. The ones who spoke are Xian Martial Realm, Martial Monarchs, and Martial Kings. They are seniors. They do not know what method Qin Yun used. Qin Yun, get the hell out here. Leng Huan shouted and continuously released a faint black mist that enveloped the battle stage. Jian Nanhu also looked at Jian Ruyin in astonishment and asked in a low voice, "Little sister Yin, you have been with Qin Yun for so long. What kind of technique is this?" "I don't know either." Jian Ruyin promptly shook her head. Only Xiao Yuelan knows what kind of technique Qin Yun used. She also knows that kind of technique. She revealed a crafty smile. She also knows that Qin Yun is about to make his move. Leng Huan looked at the middle-aged referee and asked, "Qin Yun has disappeared. He should be judged to have lost." Qin Yun did not leave the battle stage. He is still on the battle stage. That means he did not lose. Just as the middle-aged referee finished speaking, something suddenly appeared on the ground. Upon closer inspection, it is black tree roots and vines. They suddenly burst out and wrapped around Leng Huan's lower body. Qin Yun appeared. He is right behind Leng Huan. After he appeared, he gathered his 2 fingers and fiercely stabbed at the back of Leng Huan's head. Boom! A heaven-shaking thunderclap shook the entire plaza. Qin Yun used piercing heavenly fingers, piercing mountain, splitting earth finger, and struck the back of Leng Huan's head, shattering it. The black gas on the battle stage was dispersed by the explosion of the index power. The headless Leng Huan fell to the ground. Thick black blood flowed out of his neck, emitting a sinister aura. In the plaza, the deafening echo reverberated. Everyone looked at the dead Leng Huan and felt incomparable fear in their hearts. You are a devil disciple with a devil body, yet your head was destroyed in an instant. Qin Yun, this guy is simple and crude. Jian Nanhu's brows are tightly knitted. His tone is grave. I underestimated him before. Leng Huan is dead. The people of the bloodthirsty sect are all furious. However, seeing Jian Shitian and Bao Changshu here, they did not dare to do anything to Qin Yun. The people from the Divine Inscription Palace and Totem Pavilion also have grave expressions. They can roughly see Qin Yun's strength. If their disciples were to encounter Qin Yun, they would most likely be killed. Qin Yun won and slowly walked down from the battle stage. He suddenly disappeared just now because he used the mysterious penetration divine ability to hide under the battle stage. Then, when Leng Huan was distracted, he used the tree totem martial art and released tree claws to grab Leng Huan. Finally, he ran out and used piercing heavenly finger to kill him. Qin Yun, you really have 100 tricks up your sleeve. But don't be complacent. I will definitely defeat you. Jian Nanhu smiled proudly. In front of my formidable power, all your tricks are useless. Qin Yun smiled and then looked towards the 10th battle stage. Xiao Yuelan is in the 10th group, and now is her turn to go on stage. Yu Bufeng, Long Xiaofeng, and Jian Rian all know that she is Qin Yun's wife. They also know that Xiao Yuelon killed an immortal disciple and is very strong. They did not make this matter public. Xiao Yuelon's opponent is an evil disciple. Moreover, his upper body is covered with totems. Even his face and fingers are densely covered with totem runes. With a single glance, one can tell that this person is a disciple of Totem Pavilion, a disciple of Demon Moon Island. Although half of her face is covered, I can tell that she is definitely a great beauty. Her eyes are really beautiful, but they are a bit ice cold. Such a beauty actually has to face Totem Pavilion's Heitong. The guy's all kinds of Totem Pavilion. It's really scary. Demon Moon Island only sent one disciple. I wonder how strong this disciple is, but his figure is really beautiful. Everyone seems to be very interested in Demon Moon Island's disciple. Xiao Yuelon is wearing black skin-tight clothes and slowly walked onto the battle stage. Her eyes are filled with coldness, and she seems very calm. Seeing her reaction, everyone is secretly alarmed, because Totem Pavilion's tongue looks very scary. His body is strong, and his muscles are like lumps of lumps. He is filled with all kinds of sinister blue veins, and those totems are even more frightening. Not to mention women. Even many male disciples would feel their legs go soft when they meet Totem Pavilion's disciple Heitong. Qin Yun, can she win? Jian Rian walked over and asked somewhat worriedly. Even 10 of you wouldn't be her match. Qin Yun smiled. You are underestimating me too much. Jian Rian lightly snorted and said, she has interacted with Xiao Yuelon before and knows that Xiao Yuelon is beautiful and has a good figure. She also has deep feelings for Qin Yun. Now that Qin Yun said that his wife is strong, Jian Rian did not say anything, but she is somewhat unhappy. Jian Shirtan arrived beside Demon Moon Island's people and said in low voice, Old Mother Yunyao, this little girl Xiao Yuelon's opponent is not weak. Do you want to forfeit? Demon Moon Island's half-immortal is a very stern-looking old granny. She's wearing white clothes and a black robe. She is holding a broken wooden stick in her hand. She is very tall, a bit taller than the tall and sturdy Jian Shirtian. No need, Jian Shirtian. This is your territory. You should be able to suppress those guys from Totem Pavilion, right? Old Mother Yun Yao said. You mean that little girl can kill Heitong? Jian Shirtian promptly looked at Xiao Yuelon on the battle stage and frowned. Earlier, he carefully looked at Xiao Yuelon, but did not find anything special about her. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.